This young man is cursed with immortality. With every rebirth, his strength reaches terrifying new heights as he cycles through endless lives. By his 1000th reincarnation, Jinho had ascended to the supreme sovereign realm, standing at the very peak of the world. He prayed for eternal rest, but fate was cruel. He opened his eyes only to find himself in the body of a pathetic, talentless young master. Despised by his family and bullied by his own blood, the once frail boy began his transformation. A legendary genius was about to wake up. One punch is all it takes to shatter his enemies. Even the world's strongest masters are forced to kneel and beg to be his disciples. Step by step, Jinho reclaims his throne of absolute power while hunting for a way to break this eternal curse once and for all. Realizing he failed to die yet again, Jinho felt nothing but pure frustration. Not again. I am truly exhausted, he sighed in despair. Suddenly, a warm hand offered him comfort. It was his loyal wet nurse, standing beside young 𝑳𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆, who looked up to him like a real brother. This body belonged to the son of the most prestigious clan in the Central Plains, but as the child of a lowly maid, he was treated like absolute trash. The original owner had been driven to take his own life. To avenge this weak vessel, Jinho decided to ignite his ancient, hidden cultivation once more. He began tempering his soul with the Tai Chi heavenly dance. Though the process was agonizingly painful, he gritted his teeth and endured the storm. Finally, his dantian glowed with a brilliant light. His foundation was set. Nearby, his little follower 𝑳𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 was also training hard. Though the boy's movements were stiff, his physique was perfect for the iron armor technique. Jinho vowed to turn him into a peerless master. The capital was buzzing with excitement. It was time for the Grand Lord's great birthday celebration, a gathering of the realm's most powerful figures. However, the two brothers were treated like uninvited pests. The crowd whispered in mockery, wondering why the family cripple dared to show his face. Before they could enter the gates, the arrogant fifth brother blocked their path. Even though he was younger, he was a total bully. Relying on his status as a second-rate warrior, he tried to humiliate Jinho, but our main character didn't even bother to lift a finger. With just a few sharp words, he provoked the bully into a mindless rage. Only the presence of the crowd kept the fool from attacking. He challenged Jinho to a duel the following morning. To his shock, Jinho simply smirked and accepted, leaving the bully fuming with hatred. But the bully was the least of his concerns. Hidden among the guests were true monsters who could sense something strange about Jinho's energy. His dormant aura caught the eyes of the Manhwa and Zhongnan elders. They scrambled toward him, desperate to take him as their star disciple. They promised to make him a top-tier warrior within one single year. The surrounding crowd gasped in disbelief at this impossible stroke of luck. Jinho merely laughed, praising their good eyesight before turning his back on them both. Even the Manhwa leader couldn't track his speed. Who exactly was this mysterious young man? An old senior who had witnessed the entire scene quickly intercepted Jinho with a forced smile. This man, who used to kick Jinho out like a dog, now offered to let him skip the line. He was a total opportunist, but Jinho didn't mind. Inside the manor, the Grand Lord sat with a cold, imposing dignity. He was deeply disappointed in his descendants, seeing them all as useless and weak. None of them could even look him in the eye without trembling in fear. Not a single one had the spirit of a true leader. Then, Jinho stepped forward to present his gift. The Grand Lord's eyes widened in surprise. This boy's presence was completely different from before. Hearing that his useless son had just rejected two great sects, the Grand Lord burst into a fit of booming laughter. He was finally intrigued. As the brothers left, he secretly ordered his shadows to watch Jinho's every move. He wanted to see if this boy could inherit his empire. After the banquet, Jinho walked calmly through the streets. Suddenly, a sharp voice called out, forcing him to stop in his tracks. "Hey, you!" Jinho turned around, slightly annoyed. "What is it now?" he muttered, sensing another nuisance approaching. It was 𝒏𝒃𝒍𝒆, a rival noble. He was shaking with fury because Jinho had treated him like an insignificant insect. Jinho released a murderous intent that chilled the air. "Why are you blocking my way? Move, before I make you move." 𝒏𝒃𝒍𝒆 tried to maintain his pride. "I thought we could speak like gentlemen," he claimed, but his eyes betrayed his violent intentions. Jinho glared at him with eyes as sharp as daggers. "You talk like a gentleman, but you look like you're itching for a beating." The bystanders trembled as the tension escalated. "Isn't that the young master from the Zheng clan? Why is he picking a fight here?" The atmosphere became suffocatingly heavy. Everyone could feel that a storm was brewing between these two young tigers. Worried for his master, 𝒊𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 stepped forward. "Young master, should I go call the guards?" He was ready to protect Jinho at any cost. Jinho told him to stay back. "This fool is just jealous. He hates that I stole the spotlight from the great sects." He openly mocked 𝒏𝒃𝒍𝒆's desperate need for attention, exposing his petty motives in front of the entire street. The truth stung like a whip. 𝒏𝒃𝒍𝒆's blood boiled with humiliation. Jealous? Me? Stop spouting such utter nonsense, he screamed, losing all sense of reason. Jinho let out a mocking laugh. If it's not jealousy, then why are you acting like a rabid dog? He was pushing him to the edge. Driven by blind rage, Junga threw a heavy punch. But Jinho shifted his weight with elegant grace, dodging the strike by a mere hair's breadth. Too slow, Jinho whispered. The arrogant young master had no idea he was facing a god in a human shell. The arrogant fool crashed headfirst into the dirt. Looking up in a daze, he saw Zhenhao standing tall. Surprised? Zhenhao asked while cracking his knuckles. You barely know the basics of martial arts. That parry shouldn't have shocked you this much. But enough games. You dared to attack my home, right? I hope you prepared for the consequences. The attacker gnashed his teeth and gripped his sword tighter. Shut up! You just got lucky with one move, he roared, blinded by his own fragile ego. Zhenhao lunged forward with predator-like speed. Keep this in mind, this is purely self-defense, so don't complain when you're coughing up blood. To pay for his ignorance, the bully met a heavy fist. A devastating punch rocked his jaw, followed by a gut-shattering kick. He fell, but the fool still hadn't learned. He swung wildly, desperate to reclaim his pride. Zhenhao watched him, unimpressed by the pathetic struggle. Too slow, too predictable. Every desperate strike was evaded with a graceful, effortless step. How are you dodging everything? Zhenhao let out a long, bored yawn in response. Your movements are like a slow-motion film. If I couldn't dodge this, I'd be a total moron, right? The bully's face turned scarlet from the mockery. Being insulted by a talentless trash was worse than death. He gripped his blade for a final, suicidal charge. He would reclaim his honor or die trying. The spectators trembled as cold steel was drawn. Should we stop them? Someone call the guards. Zhenhao didn't flinch, his eyes tracking every muscle twitch. As the enemy closed in, the air shifted. With a lightning-fast spin, a kick sent the sword flying skyward. The attacker stared up, completely lost. Eyes on me? A focused strike exploded directly into the bully's face. The impact sent him flying like a broken doll. As he hit the ground, Zhenhao caught the falling sword. The crowd gasped, stunned by the display of divine skill. My God, did you see that technique? That bully had trained for years, yet the fourth young master only recently started his path. He's a martial arts prodigy. No wonder the great sects are keeping a close eye on him. Zhenhao's men rushed to his side. Young master, are you unharmed? He simply chuckled. I'm fine. They surrounded the fallen attacker like hungry wolves. This won't end with a simple apology. The Ngair family will have to answer for this outrage. Suddenly, Zhenhao raised his hand. Wait. All eyes turned toward him in confusion. Leave him, he commanded. I'll settle this debt personally. Zhenhao pressed the cold blade against the man's throat. If you draw a sword, be ready to be cut. His expression turned demonic, chilling the air. Should I carve you into pieces right now? The bully's face turned ghostly pale as he begged for mercy. I was wrong. Please, spare me. Zhenhao dropped the sword with a look of pure disgust. The man collapsed, foaming at the mouth from terror. Clean up this mess, he told his men while handing them a vial. They bowed, sweating at his newfound intensity. Even after he left, the whispers didn't stop. Did you see his footwork? Not a single wasted movement. He's completely transformed. He's a monster now. On the roof, a mysterious lady watched in silence. She smiled, her eyes gleaming with sudden interest. He's much more capable than I imagined. Should we investigate further, my lady? She laughed softly, a dangerous edge in her voice. Keep him on a tight leash. We can't let another faction snatch him up first. Gather every detail about his past and present. Go. Her subordinate bowed low and vanished into the shadows. Little brother, you might be the wild card I've been waiting for. Only then can I claim the thick estate. Later, at Zhenhao's residence, a frail man approached. He looked desperate as he pleaded with Doan. Doan, please, help me with this one favor. It's not something impossible for you, right? Doan shook his head quickly. I can't do it. You know I don't have that kind of power. Don't say that. Everyone knows you and the young master are like blood brothers. Just give me one chance to speak with him. Rumor says you've become a warrior under his tutelage. Didn't you take down 5 thugs all by yourself recently? Doan blushed, scratching his head in embarrassment. Well, that's true, but Ma Long poured out his heart, hoping to move his friend's soul. 5 years of basic swordplay, and I am still a nobody. Master, teach me the Dang Hong. This is my final chance. If you refuse, I'll walk away forever. This is a man's last hope. Doan was stunned by Ma Long's resolve. His heart finally softened for his desperate, lifelong friend. I will try, but keep your expectations low. You know the young master's cold heart, don't you? He bowed in gratitude. Suddenly, Tranhao stepped out. What is all this pathetic noise about? Both bowed instantly. The young master growled, "Doan, this pest is annoying. Throw him out now." They were trapped. Tran Hao glared at the man who refused to move. "Why are you still here?" Ma Long trembled under the pressure. It was suffocating, but he had to act. This was it. Gathering a lifetime of courage, he knelt. "I am Zheng Ma Long. Doan and I are brothers." Tran Hao smirked. "Since he hasn't kicked you out yet, you must be close. Fine, speak up." The man smiled awkwardly. Tran Hao cut through the air. "You wish to learn the martial path?" "Yes," he answered without hesitation. Tran Hao found this blunt honesty surprisingly refreshing and bold. "At least you aren't a liar. You don't seem to harbor any hidden, evil intentions towards me." Ma Long declared his loyalty. Tran Hao's gaze sharpened. "Why on earth should I ever accept you? I will prove my worth. I'll be the most useful servant you have ever commanded, young master." Tran Hao studied him. No hidden darkness, just a soul burning with an unbreakable, iron-like will. "I need someone to handle the trivial chores while I train Doan. He seems to have Doan's trust. He has spent years earning loyalty, but one fatal flaw remained." Tran Hao put on a grave face. "Your name is Zheng Ma Long, correct?" "Yes, master." Tran Hao hesitated, his voice dropping low. "But don't you realize the truth?" Ma Long's eyes widened in confusion. "What do you mean, master?" "You possess absolutely zero talent for the martial arts." The words were like a cold, sharp blade. Ma Long looked at the dirt, crushed. "I know. I've always known I was a talentless, weak fool. Then why waste your life?" "Because being a warrior has been my only dream since birth." Tran Hao spoke from experience. The path of a warrior isn't some glorious tale of shining heroes. Those legends are just men chasing empty honor. Reality is a nightmare, far worse than you imagine. One wrong move and you're dead. But Ma Long's passion blazed brighter. He would not back down. "I'm not a child dreaming. I know death can strike at any moment, but every dream demands a price. That raw determination." It was blinding. Looking at him, Tran Hao saw his own past life reflecting back. "Fine. I will keep an eye on you. Let's see if your persistence survives the coming days." Ma Long beamed with joy. "Are you serious?" "Thank you, young master. Thank you 1,000 times. Don't misunderstand. I haven't accepted you yet. I am simply observing your pathetic struggle for now." The world dimmed for a second. "Understood." Behind him, Doan let out a small, relieved laugh. "You actually got a chance." Ma Long turned, dazed. "Really?" He bowed until his forehead hit the earth. "Stay in the front courtyard," Tran Hao warned. "Step into the back, and I'll kill you myself." "I won't disappoint you." Tran Hao turned to Doan. "Do what you want with this persistent fool, and don't let any more trash linger around my gates. Kick them all out without a word." Tran Hao left. Ma Long grabbed Doan's hands, weeping. "Thank you, brother. I owe you everything." "It was your own luck." Ma Long stood there, overwhelmed by the mercy of the young master. Suddenly, a cold voice cut through the air. "I'm here for the young master. Is he present?" Doan hesitated, but the stranger barked an order. "Lead the way now. I have a direct summons." A summons from Lady 𝒏𝒄𝒄 Long? Doan's mind raced. What could the lady want now? The messenger snarled. "Don't question your superiors. Just lead me to your master before I lose my temper." Doan hurried inside to report. Tran Hao was livid. "Another uninvited guest? This is getting ridiculous." Doan whispered a warning. "Master, they are right outside. They can hear every word you are saying." The stranger entered the room. "Forgive my sudden intrusion," Tran Hao glared. "Forgive? Did I hear that right? Is there a problem?" A messenger arrives to deliver Lady 𝒏𝒄𝒄's urgent summons. "Your master trains noisy dogs." Jinho mocks the man's arrogance with a cold sneer. Called a barking mutt, the messenger snaps. But Jinho's provocation has only just begun. A beating is the only cure for a wild dog. Chilling, killing intent fills the room. Arrogance needs a lesson. The guard lunges, thinking the cripple is an easy target. He strikes like a lightning bolt, but Jinho doesn't even flinch as death approaches. Pathetic puppy reflexes. Jinho vanishes, dodging the strike with effortless grace. With a simple step, he's gone. The guard's fist hits nothing but empty air. Asterisk slap. Asterisk. A devastating strike shatters his jaw and sends him crashing back. Impossible! The guard reels in terror as the weakling looms over him. One swift strike to a vital point. The guard coughs blood as his internal energy collapses. He realizes the horrifying truth. Jinho's precision is that of a supreme master. Time for your final treatment. A heavy fist prepares to finish the lesson. Asterisk boom, asterisk. The shockwave scatters birds as the arrogant guard is finally silenced. Trash shouldn't bark in my home. Jinho sighs, annoyed by the weakling's persistence. Shall I read the summons? Don't bother. That clown gave me a headache. He looks at the horizon. The one at fault should be the one to regret. Next time, She'll send someone who actually knows how to bow. Lady 𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 pours tea. Why such a violent greeting for my guest? So he never dares to bark again. Jinho's cold logic leaves her speechless. You've changed, Jinho. Change was the only way to survive this family. A lonely funeral wasn't in my plans. She smiles. You've finally grown up. Since when was I yours? Jinho maintains a sharp, icy boundary between them. How cold? I'm still your elder sister, aren't I? Stop the acting. Tell me your real motive for coming here today. Her playful eyes turn serious. Help me seize the throne of the clan. I refuse. The answer is instant, cutting through her ambition like a blade. What? Are you siding with the others? Or just waiting for a better price? I have zero interest in that throne. He dismisses her grand plans entirely. The Miram? Why leave the family? She tries to lure him with power. I'll handle the gold, you handle the sword. Together, we could dominate the entire martial world. That only benefits you. Jinho sees through her golden cage immediately. It's for your own protection. She desperately tries to manipulate his loyalty. I don't need a shield. His gaze is as immovable as a mountain. Asterisk. Is he serious? Asterisk. She realizes his talent has already surpassed the entire clan. He crushed a first-rate warrior using only his fingers. His potential is limitless. His arrogance is backed by absolute, hidden strength. You'll do fine alone. Jinho bows, ending the meeting on his terms. Call me sister like before. I wouldn't dare overstep, my lady. Then at least visit for tea. She maintains her smile, hiding her shock. Only if you leave your rabid dogs at home next time. Asterisk. You won't escape me. Asterisk. Just you wait, little brother. I never give up. At the Grand Master's estate, old laughter rings out. He defeated her elite guard? That boy is full of surprises. Controlling one's internal flow isn't just luck. The Grand Elder's words echoed as I walked. I had to see the truth for myself. At dawn, I slipped away without a single guard. Climbing Mount Tai felt nostalgic. Only a master could navigate this path to find such a place. A sudden metallic ring pierced the air. Curiosity flared what could be happening in these desolate mountains. The sound of clashing steel. A young lady was desperately fending off a massive, hulking predator. She was covered in filth, clutching a mere branch. The brute licked his lips with sickening greed. Watching from the brush, I smirked. This might actually spice up my boring day in the Miram. Who's there? I leapt forward, standing like an unbreakable wall between the predator and his prey. Ah, the thrill of the martial world. Only here do you find such dramatic, life-or-death encounters. The brute snarled at me. Names don't matter when you're bullying a lady, I replied coldly. She gasped. He's the twin-faced ghost. I've been poisoned. Troublesome, but typical of these cruel lands. Look out! The monster lunged while my mind briefly drifted back through my countless past lives. Die, you arrogant brat, he roared, fully convinced I was just some helpless, distracted weakling. His massive hand reached to crush my throat. He truly believed the battle was already over. I shifted an inch, and he grabbed nothing but air. Was that your best attempt at a kill? His eyes nearly popped out in shock. I mocked him. Is this your legendary secret technique? You're far too slow. If you want to strike a fatal point, you should do it like this. I flicked a pebble with my toe. It whistled through the air, shattering his kneecap instantly. He screamed in agony, cursing me. To him, I was just a nameless fool showing off. Pure rage consumed him. He gathered every ounce of his foul energy for one final killing blow. Such a flashy move, yet so incredibly slow. Your misplaced confidence is almost impressive, you know. No more games. My fist buried itself into his gut before he could even process my movement. I've handled loudmouths like you for centuries. You are all bark and absolutely zero bite. His eyes rolled back as he collapsed. I calmly began sealing his vital meridians with precision. I'll lock your power forever. Consider this a dramatic end for a lustful dog like yourself. With the threat neutralized, the lady stood up, bowing repeatedly in pure, tearful gratitude. Don't mention it. Suddenly, a frantic, worried voice called out from the dense woods nearby. A middle-aged man rushed in, face pale with fear. My lady, what happened? Are you hurt? She sobbed into his arms. The man apologized, cursing his own failure to protect her properly. She took the blame, admitting she snuck out. Ah, the classic sheltered bird seeking forbidden freedom. He checked her pulse, his face darkening. Your internal energy, it's been tainted by a deadly poison. The chi-dispersing poison, she whispered. She sat down, preparing for the agonizing process of recovery. Steady your breath. I will use my own cultivation to burn this poison from your body. He channeled his inner power into her. She gritted her teeth against the searing, internal heat. Minutes later, he exhaled in relief. It is done. She turned to thank her loyal guardian. He looked at her warmly, then turned toward me. bowing with deep and humble respect. Forgive my late greeting. I am 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 of the 𝒑𝒏𝒄𝒃 clan. We owe you. The girl introduced herself as Peng Nayan. Their status was legendary within the Great Miram. I simply pointed at the fainted monster. Skip the pleasantries and deal with that trash first. I sealed his point so he won't escape. It was the perfect excuse to leave quickly. Debts of gratitude are a headache. I needed to vanish before things became too complicated. Nayun explained who he was. Her uncle's confident laughter died in his throat instantly. The twin-faced ghost? That monster is a first-rate killer who has slain even peak-level masters. She beamed. But he was crushed in one hit. This young master is truly a god. He even countered the ghost's deadliest palm, their faces twisted in pure, unadulterated shock. Jinhao realized his time here was done. He turned to leave before the questions started. The master warrior froze as the youth vanished, leaving no trace behind but the cold mountain air. I was focused on the two-faced devil, he muttered, but to not sense him, leave. It's impossible. The boy hadn't even reached adulthood yet. Na Yen stood there, her heart racing in sheer disbelief. We don't even know his name, she whispered softly. The veteran warrior saw the longing in her eyes. It was clear the young lady was smitten. Don't worry, he promised. We will find him at any cost. A master of that caliber cannot stay hidden. A hopeful smile finally returned to her lips. He's even more powerful than the 6 dragons. And we know exactly what his face looks like. The Hebei province never forgets a life-saving debt. Find our benefactor immediately. We must repay him. Jinhao smirked, having heard every single word. He continued his solitary trek through the dense forest. The terrain hasn't changed since my past life. He searched through the thickets with absolute certainty. Finally, his ancient memories bore magnificent fruit. A legendary medicinal herb revealed itself before him. Suddenly, a mysterious black cat crossed his path. It meowed incessantly, watching him with knowing eyes. You understand my words, don't you? Using his spirit eyes, he realized it was a spirit beast. The cub hissed as it sensed his overwhelming presence. It glared at him, sensing the hidden power within. You can see my internal energy, can't you? Here, eat this instead of that wild ginseng. There are many treasures on this mountain to find. The beast softened, licking his hand like an old friend. He unearthed 2-century-old ginseng roots with ease. A 100-year-old snack isn't too bad, right? Together, they feasted on the divine medicinal herbs. Pure, legendary energy instantly surged through his body. He utilized the cultivation experience of countless lifetimes, slowly guiding the violent energy toward his dantian. The herb's essence began to fuse with his soul, merging perfectly with his primordial heaven thunder art. Jinhao sank into a deep state of meditation. Time flowed by as he refined the celestial power. He exhaled a cloud of impurities, finally finished. The black cat was still there, guarding his side. You waited for me all night? Thank you. I shall repay this protection when we meet again. The cat rubbed against his leg, refusing to leave. Wait, do you actually want to follow me? It chirped in agreement, sparking a grin on his face. Fine then. From today, your name is Hakui. Back at the manor, the black shadow scaled the roofs. Jinhao watched his new companion claim the heights. Stay as long as you like, he whispered calmly. We'll be here until the end of the year. Suddenly, a worried voice echoed through the courtyard. Young master, you should have taken me with you. His wet nurse embraced him, checking for injuries. Was your journey safe? Did anything happen? I'm perfectly fine, Mamu, he replied with a smile. Did you accomplish everything you set out to do? Jinhao nodded, his eyes flashing with hidden strength. Yes, it was a very productive trip indeed. The servants gasped as the black cat jumped down. A cat? Where did this little thing come from? He's a new member of our family, Jinhao announced. His name is Hakui. Treat him with respect. Is he your new pet, young master? No, Jinhao corrected firmly. He is my subordinate. Mamu giggled while stroking the cat's soft fur. Be careful, he warned. That creature is extremely lethal. He has the power to slaughter master warriors easily. The room fell silent, though no one believed him. Oh, you and your jokes. Mamu laughed heartily, but Zhang Malong felt a wave of jealousy. A cat is a subordinate, but I am not? His face darkened, feeling inferior to a mere feline. Jinhao noticed the man's sudden, gloomy expression. Why do you look like the world is ending? It seems I'm still just an outsider here, being ranked below a cat. It's quite depressing. Are you still training your arts properly? I'll judge your progress after I've had some rest. Now back to work, everyone. I need sleep. As you wish, young master, they shouted together. They gathered around the cat, offering dried meats. But the next morning, a thunderous roar erupted. Ma Long was already outside, refining his blade, pushing his limits under Hakui's watchful gaze. Blackie let out a long yawn. fueling the old man's rage. How dare a mere house cat look down on a human? You damn beast, how dare you ignore me? Suddenly, Chen Hao appeared, asking if he was picking a fight with Blackie. Ma Long stammered, "Young master, this cat, Blackie, he is definitely not your average feline." Chen Hao smirked knowingly. "Indeed, he isn't. If you keep calling him a brute, he is going to lose his temper. He might even take you down," Ma Long scoffed, refusing to be intimidated by such a tiny creature. No matter what, being mocked by a cat. Before he could finish, Blackie blurred into motion, delivering a brutal kick. Direct hit to the face. Chen Hao chuckled, "I warned you. Call him a brute again, and he will really go wild." Ma Long stood frozen in shock. How? How is this possible? Chen Hao glanced at the cat. "It seems Blackie wants to show you something." In a flash, Blackie leaped, executing a high-level martial arts formation. Ma Long's jaw dropped. A cat using martial arts? Chen Hao casually explained that Blackie was no ordinary pet. He is a spirit beast. That is why he is capable of this. Even so, the aura coming from the cat was terrifying. "Keep this a secret," Chen Hao commanded. "More importantly, it seems we have a guest arriving." "A guest?" Just then, footsteps echoed. A man bowed deeply. "It has been a long time, young master. The Supreme Manor Lord requests your presence." Cut to the Grand Estate, where Chen Hao's voice rang out. "Grandfather, it has been a while. I hope you have been well?" The old man huffed. "Well, how could I be? My grandson vanished without a single word. How am I supposed to be healthy after that?" Chen Hao shrugged. "Even if I reported everything, would it not be too late anyway? Are you teasing your old grandfather again?" the man asked. Chen Hao insisted he was just being honest. The Manor Lord sighed, looking deeply at his grandson. "Some truths are harder to speak than others. But tell me, during your travels, something changed within you. Your aura is different. You have had some good fortune, have you not?" "I was just lucky," Chen Hao replied calmly. "And you still intend to leave the family for your martial path?" Chen Hao exhaled slowly. "Yes, I do. Staying in this suffocating manor offers me nothing. But this is your home," his grandfather countered. "Home does not mean I must stay here forever. People leave their families all the time, do they not?" The old man's gaze turned sharp, his voice dropping an octave. "But you are different, Chen Hao." "Because of my current condition?" Chen Hao mused. Could his past self have ever faced the Manor Lord like this? "You are only interested in me now because you have realized I am finally useful to the family." The old man paused, his eyes narrowing. "I will not deny that, but I truly wish for you to stay." Chen Hao remained unmoved. "I appreciate your feelings, grandfather, but I am not as special as you think." The Manor Lord let out a boisterous laugh. "If you are going to lie, at least make it believable." "Do you really think I would fall for that?" Chen Hao smiled faintly. "Maybe just a little bit." A realization struck the old man. Was this kid's long period of house arrest just a clever ruse? A calculated plan to leave the manor with his head held high? The pieces were starting to fit. Looking at his recent feats, it was clear. Everything had been meticulously orchestrated by this weakling. "Tell me the truth," he demanded. "Why leave a path of guaranteed success? What is your true goal? Is being the tail of a dragon not enough for you?" "A dragon, huh?" Chen Hao smirked. "Perhaps dragon is an understatement. So, why not raise yourself into one right here?" Chen Hao shook his head. "That is not my responsibility. That burden belongs to the others. The pure heirs can handle it. I am just a branch member, remember? You carry the family blood too." "Only half," Chen Hao retorted. "Let the true bloodlines deal with it." "Are you never coming back?" his grandfather asked. "I have not thought that far ahead," Chen Hao admitted. Finally, the old man conceded. "Then at least stay for your birthday banquet before you go. And until then, visit your grandfather often. Will you grant me this one small request?" "I will," Chen Hao replied obediently. The old man nodded, satisfied. "Good. Now, get going. I can tell you are eager to leave." "Dismissed." Chen Hao exited, leaving his grandfather in silence. He inherited all the stubbornness of this family, did he not? "What do you think?" he asked the shadows. His transformation was staggering. To the untrained eye, his aura seemed as weak as a mere guard. But judging this man by his outward presence alone was a fatal mistake. The elder sighed. What a profound waste. With this boy's hidden potential, the family could have truly ascended. After leaving the hall, the main character crossed paths with a very familiar face. "Did you have a good talk with the elder?" the servant asked with a curious smile. The main character quickly played it cool. He fabricated a lie about meeting a young lady. "I was delayed by Lady Mylong on the way back," he said, avoiding further suspicion. His mysterious blade, Black Glow, was proving to be an unexpectedly useful tool in the shadows. He yawned, exhausted by the family drama. "I need to fill my stomach first." Tell the nurse to prepare a feast, he ordered. He only desired a life of quiet solitude. Meanwhile, two strangers arrived at the gates. They were bubbling with intense excitement. Is this the place? The main character sensed a storm brewing over his peaceful days. Lady 𝑁 and her guardian entered the manor, her heart filled with nervous anticipation. Should we have sent word first? Her guardian reassured her with calm, steady words. We are only here to pay a debt of honor. He then approached the manor guards. I am from the prestigious Bang family. We seek an audience with young Master Tran Hao. The guards froze in disbelief. Why would such legendary nobles visit the family's supposed failure? The jealous cousin, Tran Long, appeared. What brings such a legendary beauty to our humble home? I am here for Tran Hao. He is the savior who rescued me from certain death. We have come to repay his kindness. Can you lead us to the young master immediately? Tran Hao is a savior? The cousin was skeptical, but led them inside with a fake smile. The main character felt a shiver of unease. Something was definitely about to go wrong. As expected, the two prestigious guests were already waiting. The cousin's face was twisted in envy. The main character chuckled internally. He could read the jealous man's greedy thoughts like an open book. I am Bang 𝑁. I have come to finally show my respect to my noble savior. I could not rest until I thanked you personally for saving my life that day. You traveled far, the main character replied warmly. Please, excuse my modest and humble home. This place is peaceful, she smiled softly. Her guardian then turned to the arrogant cousin. Thank you for the guidance, young master. Now, please leave us to speak in private. The cousin was stunned. They wanted to speak with the family outcast alone? He had no choice but to retreat. But his heart was already consumed by dark schemes. Treat them as VIPs, he ordered. Then he whispered a secret command to his subordinate. Find out everything about their connection. The servant trembled at the dangerous task. That guard is a top-tier master of the Bang family. He is a monster in combat. Are you questioning my orders? The cousin's face turned into a mask of pure rage. The Bang family is a powerhouse of warriors. Their strength is feared across the entire land. If I can harness their influence, becoming the supreme ruler will no longer be a dream. Perhaps she would make a perfect wife to secure my absolute power and legacy. Inside, the main character served tea. I apologize for the sudden commotion I have caused. The guard observed him closely. This boy was unlike any other teenager he had ever met. He was unnervingly calm. Even in front of a legendary beauty, he did not flinch once. Unlike the previous cousin, his heart was a still, unreadable pool of ancient power. 𝑁 took out a precious item. This is a small token of my eternal gratitude. It was a golden medallion. It granted the holder immense wealth and absolute family influence. The main character's eyes widened. This was no ordinary gift. It was a sign of destiny. A mere token of gratitude, she smiled. But it pales before your presence, master. She won't budge unless you accept. Not wanting to offend, our hero relented. I shall take it then. 𝑁 beamed, while he thought, I should be thanking you. I need funds for my journey anyway. Money is a tool, or a shackle if misused. But in moderation, it serves well. The next morning, under the golden dawn, she appeared. Did you sleep well? She asked shyly. Seeing her nervous face, he cut to the chase. Is there something you wish to ask? She gasped. You noticed? I have a request. Please, duel with me. Jinho paused. A duel? Right here? Right now? Of course. 𝑁's heart skipped a beat. Could this be real? Begin whenever you are ready. She nodded, tightening her grip on the hilt. Take the first move. With a shout, she lunged forward like a striking hawk. Her blade rained down like a storm. Yet, Jinho remained calm, moving like mist. He dodged effortlessly. Frustration boiled within her. I can't even touch his clothes. Time for a gamble. She closed the distance, hoping to catch him off guard. Another failed attempt. Jinho's eyes sharpened. Now, it is my turn. He moved like a bolt of lightning. A single counter forced her back in terror. What is this power? Effortless, yet crushing. He was like a sleeping god awakening. He predicts every move. It was as if he knew her family's secret arts perfectly. She retreated, trembling. As he lunged, she leaped high, preparing a final strike. From this height, I have the advantage. She was sure he couldn't dodge this. But she was too slow. Before her blade fell, he was already there. A spinning kick connected. Her world spun as her sword flew from her hand. Jinho snatched the blade mid-air. With a flashy flourish, he pointed it at her. She surrendered immediately. He smiled, satisfied with the morning workout. Wiping his brow, he spoke softly. Would you like some advice, young lady? I've been waiting for this. He noted her solid foundations but predictable patterns. You lack the element of surprise. Surprise attacks? She whispered, eyes wide. She finally understood. That final kick wasn't just luck, it was a lesson. A sword isn't your only weapon. He praised her quick wit. She was impressed. Can we duel again tomorrow? Tomorrow too? He chuckled. It benefits me as well. Thank you, she cheered. Then I shall see you at dawn. Is he really that strong? The elder asked. His growth in 1 year is monstrous. He might even surpass the 6 dragons. Nayen grinned. I told you he was special. Try not to make your feelings so obvious. The elder teased, but she played coy. I don't know what you mean, she blushed. But aren't you curious about his skills? The elder grew thoughtful. Indeed. We must test the depth of his power soon. A proper test would be the best reward. I can't wait, Nayen exclaimed. Elsewhere, Thick Minnot studied the reports. This was the head of the Thick clan. Is this true? Has Jinho truly changed this much? He asked in disbelief. The scout confirmed it. The forgotten second son was now a rising legend. He rejected the great sex and defeated a Ban clan genius. A true monster has appeared. A genius like him is a rare blessing. Minnot sighed, feeling a pang of regret. It's a pity he ignores family affairs. He had already rejected every invitation sent. From young masters to the elders, he says no to everyone. Even the great patriarch was ignored. He doesn't care for power or status. The cripple they once knew was now beyond their reach. Wait, my lord, look at the final page, the subordinate urged. There's something truly fascinating there. He flipped the parchment, his expression shifting from curiosity to doubt. This flower blade plan, it is bold, but execution will be difficult. Though the 𝒏𝒗𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 bands family ranks last among the 5 great clans, they remain legends who dominate the martial world. They are the iron-fisted leaders of the righteous path. If the flower blade has no feelings for Zhenlong, buying their favor with gold is simply impossible. The man understood immediately. I'll investigate. Then, Minnot added a chilling warning to his report. Tell Zhenlong to cease his foolishness. If he breaks our alliance, he will pay with his life. Scene shift. A mysterious stranger was stroking Black Shadow. So, you're the kitten Zhenhao is raising? Seeing the calm cat, the protagonist felt a wave of relief. This guest did not seem dangerous. Sensing a presence, the man stood up with a warm smile. It has been a long time, boy. Zhenhao's eyes lit up with recognition. Uncle Duke Niet, it is good to see you. Please, enter. As tea was served, Duke Niet spoke softly. The rumors said you had changed. It seems they lied. Zhenhao bowed respectfully. I will change even more. After all, I am becoming a man now. The man chuckled. Barely 17 and talking like an adult? You have grown quite bold, my boy. The youth smiled. 17 is enough. Does uncle not know what adulthood means for the Thick clan? Zhenhao watched him, his mind racing. Duke Niet was the legendary leader of the Wind Escort Bureau. Born as an illegitimate son, he had fought through shadows to lead the family's most vital business. That was why he cared for the crippled Zhenhao. They were both outsiders in their own home. After every mission, he would return just to check on the child that the world had abandoned. I made a promise to the original owner of this body, the protagonist thought. I won't fail. Returning to reality, the youth asked, Is something wrong, uncle? Your eyes tell a different story. The man sighed. I can't believe it. Outsmarted by a boy not even half my age. You're sharp. You hit it well, uncle. My eyes are just different now. Tell me, what has happened to you? Duke Nguyet hesitated, then took a deep breath. He looked desperate, his pride cast aside for hope. It's shameful, but I need your help. Our escort bureau is currently facing a soul-crushing crisis. We need Great Hero Bak, Huang Qian's aid. The Black Demon Bureau is plotting to destroy us. They've allied with the Black Crow bandits. It is a vicious trap, though I have no proof. Zhenhao realized the stakes. If the Great Hero intervened, these villains would be crushed like insects. After all, Bak was a top-tier powerhouse, a man whose name made the entire Hebei province tremble. Even the infamous Black Crow bandits were nothing compared to his legendary strength. The uncle looked grim. I asked him yesterday, but he refused. I heard you have a special bond with Lady Ban. Zhenhao laughed it off. We aren't as close as the rumors say, but I can help. Just be warned. He might reject you again. The youth's eyes glimmered with a hidden, ancient power. The man gripped Zhenhao's hand. I must try. This is the last hope for our bureau. Just arrange the meeting. I'll do the rest. Zhenhao smiled. Then let's do it right now. There's no need to wait. They're already at the door. Duke Niet froze in shock at his senses. Both of you can stop hiding, Zhenhao called out. Please, come in and join our conversation. Ban Na-yen stepped inside, her confident smile masking her surprise at being detected so easily. Uncle Duke Niet, she greeted. We met yesterday. Bak Huangqian followed, his presence heavy and suffocating. Please, sit, Zhenhao said calmly. I believe you've all been introduced already, haven't you? More than just introduced, the hero replied. Is this gathering related to the incident from yesterday, Master? Are you asking for my help too? Zhenhao paused, then pulled out the jade bond gave him. Before we talk strategy, I must return this. I cannot accept a gift for a simple deed. The girl stammered. Wait, that was a token of... The protagonist shook his head, his gaze piercing. Helping you was just my duty. I don't need rewards to live a life of true honor. Not wanting the great hero Baek to feel pressured, our protagonist offers a strategic proposal instead of a demand. Escort me to the Black Crow stronghold, and you'll satisfy your curiosity while gaining invaluable real-world combat experience. Qian immediately scoffs at the suggestion, but Jinho reads their inner doubts like an open book, smiling confidently. He dangles an irresistible bait. Since both are curious about his martial arts, a duel against the stronghold chief will suffice. Are you truly that confident? The man asks skeptically, warning that the Black Crow chief is a legendary, terrifying foe. If you think I'm bluffing, test my skills yourself right now. They immediately head to the courtyard to begin the clash. Spectators doubt the young master's hidden power. Can Jinho truly withstand the legendary frozen iron fist of Hero Baek? Nayen watches with anticipation. Knowing this match won't end as easily as the great chief expects, she knows his secret. Young Master Jinho is no longer the weakling they once knew. The great chief internally scoffs at the supposed transformation. Even if rumors say he's changed, the power gap should be an abyss. On stage, the youth radiates overwhelming energy. If you're ready, let's begin, the young master says boldly. Qian generously offers to let the boy take the first move. Let's go, Jinho shouts, lunging forward with explosive speed and raw power that leaves the veteran warrior breathless. Uncle Baek is stunned by this protagonist's aura, instinctively activating his ultimate divine cultivation technique in a moment of panic. To counter these troublesome movements, Baek strikes with everything he has, determined to put the arrogant youth in his place. But Jinho doesn't budge. Instead, he shatters Baek's internal energy and closes the distance like a flickering phantom. As the distance vanishes, the real battle begins. Baek realizes that brute force alone cannot suppress this rising monster. It wasn't impossible, but struggling this much felt unnecessary. Baek declares that his casual warm-up has finally concluded. I know. Let's start for real. The two masters collide in a whirlwind of high-speed, lethal martial arts exchanges. Jinho isn't aiming for a simple victory. He wants an honorable duel. Suddenly, he vanishes from Baek's line of sight. In a split second of negligence, Baek takes a devastating punch to the gut. The shockwave sends the veteran reeling back. He fell. It felt as though the boy predicted every single move. Has he truly reached a divine martial realm? The two clash again, their massive internal energies colliding to create a thunderous explosion that shakes the entire foundation. Should I release my full power to test his true limits? Baek wonders. Just once, shouldn't cause too much harm. Jinho reads his mind, smiling brightly. Go ahead, use your full internal energy. It will satisfy your curiosity much better. Since you've invited me, I won't hold back, Baek decides. Given his skills, the boy might actually survive this blow. Let's see if you can block this. Baek unleashes the secret technique of the Great Pan family from Hebei province. He combines it with the divine heaven palm, transforming it into an ultimate divine fist that glows with celestial light. A violent cyclone erupts from the strike. Watching from the sidelines, Ma Long fears the duel has become too lethal. He tries to intervene, but Na Yen stops him with a thrill. Don't worry, she says. Just watch the legend unfold. Despite her words, Ma Long is anxious. I fear a disaster is coming. He whispers to Doan, who remains calm. Relax and watch. Our young master is far stronger than you think. Baek's thunderous laughter echoes as dust settles. Emerging from the impact, Jinho stands completely unharmed. He suggests ending the duel now since the point was proven. Na Yen beams with joy while the skeptics turn pale, unable to form coherent sentences from the sheer shock. Ma Long sheds tears of happiness. Our young master has lived up to our faith. Doan laughs at his brother's tears. Baek approaches, asking if it's wise to reveal such skills. If you face real bandits, your secrets will be exposed. Jinho replies nonchalantly that he never intended to hide. I won't abandon those who've cared for me since childhood. Regardless of the reason, I will protect my family. He glances warmly at his uncle, who is moved beyond words. Duke Nguyen gazes with pride. The frail boy he raised has transformed into a warrior capable of shaking the heavens. Baek and Na Yen offer their full support. However, Baek is already making secret calculations about this incredible talent. I must report this to the clan. This sleeping dragon is even more powerful than the legendary 6 dragons. The group sets off for Black Crow Mountain, joined by the chief of the Thick Fong Bureau for this mission. His presence stems from an emergency meeting. Are you really planning to split our forces and fight on 2 fronts? Technically, it's not just a pincer attack. We need enough manpower to ensure not a single bandit escapes justice. Though Jinho's logic is sound, the bureau chief remains hesitant. We cannot afford reckless gambles during this recovery operation. No matter what, we must reclaim the cargo. Splitting forces against the Black Crow stronghold is a massive risk. This isn't a simple raid. The Black Demon Bureau is pulling the strings from the shadows. Jinho stood his ground, his logic piercing. These thugs are merely pawns in a deadlier game. They've likely smuggled the goods out already. Their true goal? To utterly destroy Shifeng's reputation. His words held weight, yet the chief hesitated, unwilling to split his elite forces so thin. Sensing his doubt, Great Hero Bake stepped forward. Do not fear. I shall handle any unforeseen chaos. With a legend's backing, the chief finally relented, though his heart still raced with uneasy tension. Cutting our main force by half, can we truly breach the front gate with such few men? Before he could finish, Jinho shattered the massive gates with one devastating, earth-shaking kick. Stop worrying, Chief, he said coldly. Beside him, Doan added, trust in him. You're about to see. Just watch closely. You're about to witness the birth of a true monster's power. The Black Crow bandits swarmed out, screaming threats. Who dares intrude upon our mountain stronghold? Jinho's hand blurred, seizing a bandit by the throat and hoisting him like a lifeless doll. He tossed the unconscious thug aside as the entire gang surrounded them, weapons bared and eyes murderous. You fools have no idea who you're facing. Jinho smirked, slowly drawing his gleaming blade. A single, effortless flash of steel carved through the air, claiming multiple lives in a heartbeat. The chief stared, paralyzed. The rumors were wrong. How can he possess such overwhelming, godly strength? Terror gripped the remaining bandits. Seeing them tremble, Jinho stepped forward like a predator. What's wrong? Too scared to move? Are these the supposed cowards of the Green Forest fortresses? If you lack even the will to die fighting, then bring your leader out this instant. He sighed in boredom as they retreated. Suddenly, the air grew heavy as a dark presence emerged. The bandit leader stepped out, instantly executing his own fleeing subordinate with a brutal strike. Running from a mere brat? Have you forgotten the name of the Black Crow Fortress? I'll cleanse this cowardice myself, he roared, turning his gaze toward the beautiful Nayen. A twisted grin spread across his face. Killing you will be a pleasure, especially with such a prize. Once you're dead, that woman belongs to me, he barked, his eyes filled with vile lust. Jinho didn't flinch. He just wanted this over. Infuriated, the leader swung his massive axe. Asterisk clang, asterisk. With one hand, Jinho blocked the strike. The spectators gasped in absolute disbelief. Impossible! He stopped my full-force blow with just his sword? The leader's face turned ghostly pale. I built this fortress with my own blood and sweat. How can a child repel me? Jinho pushed back, sending the giant stumbling. The once mighty leader now looked like a helpless child. With one final, decisive strike, the Black Crow leader fell. Your master is dead. Surrender now. Lay down your arms and live. Run, and I shall hunt you to the ends of the earth. Most surrendered instantly, but one fool tried to flee, only to run straight into Nayen. He mocked her for being a woman, unaware she was the pride of the 𝒏𝒄𝒄 family. Nayen silenced him with a brutal flurry of blows. Jinho nodded. Well done, partner. It was your guidance, young master. Now, let us ensure no one escapes this mountain alive. Jinho checked the bodies for poison. We can't have our witnesses dying before we get answers. Meanwhile, in 𝒏𝒄𝒄, Lord 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 sat upon his throne, demanding news of the Shi family. The eldest son, Zhenlong, is 25, a greedy man currently fighting his brothers for succession. His talents are mediocre, his spirit narrow, and his martial arts? Utterly pathetic and untrained. Lord Peng exploded in rage. A talentless weakling who hasn't even secured his own birthright. How dare such a low-life dream of marrying my precious daughter Nayen? Know your place. The butler bowed low as the Lord's fury shook the room. Please, master, calm your divine anger. Lord Peng took a breath, then shifted his focus. And what of the other one? Jinho? He has awakened, master. He is suppressing bandits with a power and charisma unlike anything before. Just a year ago, he was a suicidal wreck, drowning in a sea of hopelessness. But now, he's sharp, powerful, and single-handedly crushed a den of vicious bandits. The new escort contract is a masterpiece. It's a win-win for both prestigious sides. The young lady is clearly smitten. We must recall her before scandalous rumors erupt. If she refuses to return because of Jinho, I'll personally deal with that boy. Jinho brings home a feast for his nurse. Her happy smile is his reward. Poverty is a ghost of the past. With this gold, our destiny finally changes. Nurse's eyes fill with tears. It isn't the wealth that moves her soul today. The clan leader sent this personally. He finally recognizes your true worth, young master. Jinhao drops a bombshell. He has rejected the offer to stay in the clan. Don't overthink it, nurse. I'm leaving this gilded cage to wander the vast world. She's stunned, yet supportive. Finally, the trash of the family has been acknowledged. The leader opened the door for his return, but Jinhao's heart seeks freedom. I refuse to rot in this suffocating clan. I want peace and fresh air. Wherever you go, I follow. As long as the young master is there, I'm home. Suddenly, Ma Long bursts in, frantic. Has another challenger come to seek Jinhao? Your charm is truly a curse. But wait, Ma Long is battered and covered in blood. Rage blazes in Jinhao's eyes. Who dared to lay a hand on my subordinate? The elite guards of the 7th team attacked him, treating him like masterless trash. Ma Long sobs in frustration. To them, a servant without a master is just dirt. They mocked me. They said a nobody's servant deserves to be crushed like a bug. Jinhao blames himself. He hadn't officially claimed Ma Long yet. A careless mistake. Stand up, Ma Long. I won't tolerate my people being trampled by anyone. Ma Long freezes in shock. Did the young master just officially claim him? It's true. Ma Long follows, his heart swelling with newfound loyalty and gratitude. They reach the guard hall. Ma Long hesitates. Can a mere servant enter this sanctuary? Status is irrelevant. They wounded my pride. Now, they will face my wrath. From this moment, you are mine. No one touches my people and lives peacefully. Ma Long's face lights up. Jinhao bellows for the 7th team leader to appear. The bullies emerge. Ma Long points them out, his fear replaced by Jinhao's shadow. The arrogant thugs sneer, ready to strike again. They don't realize death is watching. Jinhao's killing intent explodes. His eyes promise a slow and painful end. The bully's blood runs cold. This cripple possesses a pressure that feels like God. Busy bodyguards interfere, only fueling the inferno of Jinhao's escalating rage. You dared to touch my subordinate? You're nothing but mindless, pathetic attack dogs. I don't care about your petty contracts. You are just trash hiding behind orders. Bring your leader here now, or pack your bags and vanish from this clan. The 7th team leader, Fong Wulong, finally arrives. Jinhao greets him coldly. So, you finally crawled out? I was busy teaching your dogs some basic manners. They sold their honor for coins. They don't even possess a warrior's pride. Wulong snaps. He draws his blade, lunging with a strike meant to kill. You've crossed the line. I'll teach you the hierarchy of this family. Boy, steel flashes, but Jinhao dodges effortlessly. Not a single hair is touched. The cripple 4th prince. Dodging a master swordsman? The onlookers are paralyzed with shock. I'm giving you one warning. From today, no one ignores my words ever again. Jinhao seized the blade, his aura instantly crushing the arrogant commander. Just as he was about to strike, a powerful voice intervened. It was Ma Sangjin, leader of the elite guard, begging for mercy. He promised to discipline his men for their grave disrespect. Seeing a true warrior's honor, Jinhao decided to spare them. He tossed the sword aside, leaving a cold, final warning. Repeat this, and I will show you no mercy. The bullies were forced to kowtow and beg for forgiveness. Ma Long stood frozen, unable to believe his master's power. As they left, Sangjin stared at Jinhao's retreating back. This man wasn't a cripple. He was a hidden monster. Peace returned, and Ma Long trained with newfound pride. His fighting spirit soared, leaving his old self behind. Yet, the visitors kept coming to see the mysterious master. For Jinhao, these strange encounters were becoming a daily routine. Even the nanny was shocked by the sudden late-night guests. She hurried to prepare a feast for the growing crowd. Na Yan arrived with Uncle Bok and a mysterious new visitor. It was Peng Wuqin, the pride of the 𝑰𝒏𝒗𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 clan. He greeted the legendary cripple with surprisingly deep respect. I couldn't wait another moment to meet you, brother. Jinhao smiled, welcoming the young master of Hebei inside. Na Yan watched them, her heart racing with nervous excitement. She worried they were intruding on Jinhao's quiet life. But Wuqin had a mission that couldn't be delayed. He teased his sister for acting so feminine and shy. Na Yan flared up, threatening her brother to stay silent. The group laughed, finally stepping into the warm manner. Wuqin placed a masterfully crafted sword onto the table. This is a gift from our clan leader for your kindness. Jinhao drew the steel, sensing its perfect, lethal balance. Am I truly worthy of such a legendary divine weapon? Na Yan beamed, delighted that her gift had touched his heart. But wait, didn't her father worry about her long stay? Wuqin sighed, explaining the hilarious power dynamic at home. Their father was only 3rd in the family's hierarchy. The mother ruled all, and Na Yan was the true princess. I am even lower than her, so I cannot stop her. Jin Hao laughed, enjoying the rare warmth of their bickering. Wu Qin watched closely, searching for Jin Hao's true power. He looked ordinary, yet felt like an immovable mountain peak. The urge to test his skills against this master grew. Seeing the new blade, Jin Hao suggested a friendly duel. Wu Qin agreed instantly, his blood boiling with martial excitement. They stepped into the courtyard, ready for a legendary clash. This duel is the perfect stage. I will show them my true worth. My opponent's thirst for battle is fierce. His obsession with victory means this will be a long fight. Wu Jian steps forward, gripping his sacred blade. I am ready, he declares. I calmly respond. As am I. Let us begin. The atmosphere instantly turns electric. They charge with killing intent. Wu Jian is stunned by my lightning-fast, precise sword strikes and overwhelming pressure. He expected me to falter, thinking I was still a weakling unfamiliar with my own weapon. How wrong he is. I strike without hesitation. Is he reckless or just superior? Their blades clash with a deafening, bone-chilling roar. Metal screams against metal. Wu Jian swings with crushing force, but his warrior senses suddenly scream a desperate warning. I have already moved behind him. Impossible! When did he get there? Panicked. Wu Jian spins to face my shadow. They exchange a flurry of blows, but I hold the absolute advantage. Every strike pushes him closer to defeat. My techniques leave him breathless and struggling. Outside, Yoon and Ma Long watch the masterclass duel in total awe. A clash of true titans. Beck and Na Yan are frozen. They never expected this from the crippled master. They thought a head-on collision would favor the veteran. Wu Jian's mind reels as his confidence shatters into pieces. Damn it! How is he this strong? He refuses to yield. He is the legendary flying sky tiger. After all, igniting his soul, he resumes the onslaught. He won't let his reputation die in this simple courtyard sparring match. It is an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. The spectators are mesmerized by the sheer intensity of battle. Unbelievable. This power is terrifying. The air ripples with the force of Wu Jian's relentless, whirlwind-like strikes and fury. I remain focused, calculating the distance. To overcome his reach, I must wait for the perfect, fatal opening. I endure his storm with cold composure. Then, I see it. I swing my blade in one decisive, legendary arc. My sword sings. In my past lives, I mastered the 5 tiger styles. This level of skill is nothing. Unless he reaches true enlightenment, he is no threat. But I will prolong this to sharpen my dormant instincts. This is the perfect chance to awaken my senses. Wu Jian glares at me, refusing to drop his guard. It is almost funny he realizes I am still holding back. Show me everything, he bellows, his pride finally burning. If you want my full power, here it is. He prepares the ultimate technique of the 𝑰𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 Clan. He unleashes the primordial thunderstrike, a devastating wave of energy that threatens to consume the entire training area. I am pushed back by the sheer pressure. I rotate my blade, forming a perfect circle of absolute, divine defense. The thunderous gale vanishes instantly. Stunned, he lowers his sword. I lose. I have nothing left to show you. I sheath my sword with a sharp click. Well fought. My attendants stand frozen, unable to believe their eyes. Wu Jian smiles, showing no resentment. I am just disappointed. Na Yan did not even bother to cheer for me. I guess she knew the outcome already, he laughs. I have learned much today. I reply with humble respect. The honor was mine. Even against the 6 dragons, I have never felt such a crushing, helpless pressure before. It is nearly noon. Let us eat. My nanny's cooking is legendary, and she has prepared a feast today. Wu Jian happily accepts. He is dying to taste the food Na Yan has been praising so highly lately. He reflects on yesterday. He thought the rumors about the 4th young master were just exaggerated family lies. He expected a weakling. Now he knows the truth. Both brothers are absolute monsters in their own right. Baek asks, do you see his greatness now? Wu Jian nods. You were right. He is truly an extraordinary warrior. His skill and character are beyond measure. Having him as an ally is the greatest gift for our family. The summer sun blazes as cicadas cry in the trees. Inside the palace, the Grand Master sips his tea. The Gale Thunder Tiger. Is that his new title? He asks his shadow, his eyes glinting with deep curiosity. Yes. Even the Peng family's heir came to challenge him. His name will soon shake the entire martial world. The Peng family? The Grand Master smiles. So they chose him over Jin Long's marriage proposal instead? Interesting. It is a massive blow to the eldest brother's pride. Ever since I left the clan after the festival, Jin Long acted unbothered. But the world is changing. Why does Jin Hao hide his true ancient ambitions now? I am curious why he competed if he doesn't want the throne. The Grand Master muses to himself quietly. His heart is a mystery, my lord. The Grand Master looks at the horizon, a new plan finally forming. Whatever his goal, his rise brings us immense glory. The hidden dragon has finally revealed its true golden scales. This is perfect. I've been waiting for something interesting to happen again. The elders' excitement grew, unaware of the coming storm. What will unfold today? As Jin Hao's group entered the hall, a booming voice suddenly shattered the atmosphere. Ah, there you are. I planned to greet you personally, but this event has me swamped with preparations. It's quite all right, uncle. The carriage you provided was excellent. I arrived feeling completely refreshed and relaxed. I even enjoyed the scenic views along the way. His uncle smiled. We'll discuss your stay later. To the banquet? Shouldn't we eat first? A grand feast is the best welcome, Jin Hao replied, accepting the invitation with a polite bow. His uncle led them through the grounds. Seeing the countless banners fluttering in the wind, Doan's eyes widened in awe. Those are the flags of the great agencies. This event is massive, gathering the legendary top 10 of the Central Plains. And because of that, many snakes are finally showing their faces in broad daylight. The uncle whispered grimly. Jin Hao tilted his head in curiosity. What do you mean? His uncle pointed toward a sharp-eyed young man ahead. That's 𝑰𝒏𝒗𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆. After the recent scandal, his White Horse Agency's reputation is in tatters. Yet, here he is. His eyes scream of a hidden plot. All these heirs are desperate to reclaim their status through martial dominance today. Young warriors were training fiercely, exchanging techniques. I heard a rumor that you're quite skilled in martial arts, nephew. Jin Hao smiled playfully. Why don't you step into the ring with me then? His uncle let out a heavy, tired sigh. All I've mastered is the art of deception. I'm no match for you. You should test your strength against them instead. Jin Hao surveyed the scene. A banquet turned into a battlefield. Every martial sect seems to share this violent tradition. If you want to prove your agency's future prosperity, overwhelming power is the only currency that truly matters here. No wonder the thick manor is in such chaos trying to secure my position. His uncle then pointed to a lavish table. Eat your fill for now. Watch the situation closely while I handle some business. We are desperately short on staff. The table was a masterpiece of culinary art. Steaming dumplings, roasted meats, and buns that looked absolutely divine. The wealthy agencies spared no expense. These were delicacies made from the finest ingredients found across the entire Central Plains. Jin Hao turned to his nanny and Ma Long. Don't be formal. Enjoy the food. I need to step away for a moment. His nanny followed him with a worried gaze. Where are you going, young master? Jin Hao gave a vague, casual answer. Just to meet someone. She teased him immediately. Is it a secret lover? No one compares to Lady Na, right? Jin Hao just laughed it off. As he walked, a loud, aggressive commotion erupted further ahead, drawing a massive crowd. What's the stir? Apparently, the arrogant heir of the White Horse Agency was forcefully challenging the Thantong Agency. Isn't that suicide? 𝑰𝒏𝒗𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 is a top disciple of the Kongtong sect. Jin Hao's expression shifted instantly. Thantong Agency? He muttered. Up ahead, the tension was thick enough to cut with a blade. 𝒁𝒑𝒑𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 sneered condescendingly. Is the great Thantong Agency really going to hide and reject my humble invitation? Qi Luan stepped forward, eyes blazing. A duel requires mutual respect. We have every right to refuse your blatant bullying. But her brother, hot-headed and desperate, shouted back. Step aside, sister. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for. Stay back, you fool, she hissed. Watching from the fringe, Jin Hao finally pieced together the bitter history between them. There was deep-seated resentment in their eyes. It wasn't just a challenge, it was a blood feud fueled by old grudges. Suddenly, Jin Hao cut through the crowd and stood directly between the rivals. A true honor to meet you both. Are you the leaders of the Thantong Agency? Qi Luan was startled but kept her guard up against the stranger. Who are you? Such insolence. Can't you see we're busy? The elder reached out to grab Jin Hao's shoulder in anger. With a ghost-like movement, Jin Hao effortlessly evaded the grip. The elder froze in shock. Who is this kid? Wait, that face, someone whispered. Are you the wind and thunder tiger of the thick manor? The crowd erupted in gasps. The monster who annihilated the Black Crow bandits alone? Is it really him? Young Master Thick, Jin Hao? Everyone's eyes widened in pure disbelief. Jin Hao simply turned and flashed a cold smile. Forgive my interruption. I am indeed Jin Hao. The White Horse heir scoffed, trying to hide his trembling hands. Jin Hao sighed deeply, his aura beginning to shift. It seems we share a very unfortunate and ill-fated destiny. The crowd began to murmur. Ill-fated? Didn't the White Horse Agency secretly collude with those filthy bandits back then? The Kongtong sect had to beg for a resolution. How pathetic. Nguyenjiang's face turned a violent shade of red. "Shut your mouths, you know nothing." Jinhao crossed his arms, radiating a pressure that silenced the entire hall. "Is that your sincere proposal? Or is this just another scheme from a snake who only knows how to strike from the shadows?" Why the silence? Jinhao stood his ground, knowing his opponent was far too terrified to face a true master directly. "So you prey on the weak instead? Targeting the Green Pine Bureau just because you think they are easy pickings for a coward? Did I hit a raw nerve? I didn't realize a lowlife like you still possessed a single shred of human dignity." Their eyes clashed like freezing steel. Neither would back down, though Yuan Jiang's fists were trembling with a murderous rage. This was not the plan at all. That brat Jinhao is a chaotic wildcard, threatening to tear his entire scheme apart. The situation had shifted, and he needed a new trap. He bowed with a hollow, serpent-like grace to hide his fury. Then perhaps the young master could be gracious enough to teach this humble servant a lesson in true martial arts? In his mind, he was already savoring a bloody victory. He would crush this arrogant noble and steal all his legendary glory. A lesson only works if we are on the same path. From where I stand, you aren't even worth a second of my time. You simply aren't qualified to stand in my shadow. Yuan Jiang's face contorted in humiliation, his teeth grinding together in rage. "Are you playing games with me?" Jinhao remained calm, stating that he simply refused to waste his strength on a weakling. "Instead of a meaningless fight, let us have a real duel. But I doubt you'd agree without your 𝒏𝒄𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 masters backing you up. I don't need a shield to crush you. For this battle, I will personally guide the young successor of the Green Pine Bureau." The entire room fell into a stunned silence. Everyone stared in disbelief at the sheer audacity of his unexpected proclamation. "The duel shall take place on the festival's final day, assuming both the White Horse and Green Pine leaders have the courage to accept." Is everyone satisfied with these terms? Chu Lun's eyes sparked with a sudden, desperate hope as he shouted his enthusiastic agreement. Qi Lun was powerless to stop her brother's outburst. Yuan Jiang smirked, believing the heavens had just handed him a pathetic victory. "You're entrusting your entire honor to that failure? It's a fool's gamble, but I'll gladly take everything you own when he falls. No more words are necessary between us. We shall settle our scores on the arena floor when the final sun sets. Don't you dare run away when the moment of truth arrives." With a triumphant laugh, the villain turned and walked away. What an absolute delusional fool. Sending a lamb like Chu Lun to the slaughter is practically a gift for my reputation. The others watched him leave in a heavy silence. Qi Lun finally snapped, unable to contain her mounting frustration any longer. "What kind of reckless game are you playing? Pitting my brother against a monster like Yuan Jiang is nothing but pure madness." Jinhao bowed with a mysterious, ancient calm. "You shouldn't be so quick to dismiss your own brother's hidden martial potential. I can guarantee his absolute victory. Under my guidance, even a broken pebble can shatter a mountain into dust." Chu Lun blushed, feeling a strange, burning heat. As evening fell, the weight of the coming battle hung heavy in the air. "I simply cannot understand his reasoning. Why would a master choose a weakling like you for such a high stake? Maybe he sees a spark that you don't." Before he could finish, his sister accused him of being blinded by hero worship. "That isn't it at all, but I truly believe this is my only chance to finally become someone worthy of our name. He's just an overhyped noble with silver words." Yet, Chu Lun stood firm, declaring his absolute faith in Jinhao's power. While the siblings bickered, a presence emerged from the dark. A knock echoed at the door, breaking the heavy tension. "Is the bureau head within these walls? I have been sent by young master Jinhao to escort you both immediately." It was Ma Long, the loyal shadow of the estate. Qi Lun's mind raced with 1,000 questions about Jinhao's true motives. Is he doing this because he's infatuated with me? Or is he just using us as pawns to humiliate his political enemies? No, he could have crushed them himself if that was the goal. There is something far deeper hidden behind those piercing eyes. They were led to a private chamber where Jinhao waited. The air vibrated with the presence of a hidden ancient power. They entered and bowed with deep, soulful reverence. The two siblings were desperate to save their family's fading legacy. "We are the Chu siblings of the Green Pine Bureau." Jinhao acknowledged them, his voice sounding like a calm, deep forest. "I am Jinhao of the Jin family estate." Qi Lun finally spoke, asking why a stranger would offer such divine grace. "I knew you would be skeptical of my help. In this world, no one gives away a miracle for free, do they? But what if this was a destiny spanning countless lifetimes? A blood debt that has been waiting centuries to be repaid? I am not doing this for your sake alone. I am simply honoring a promise made to your ancestors long before your time. In a past life, lost in a blizzard, more brutal than death, I was a soul far weaker than the man I am today. I was dying on a frozen mountain, forgotten by heaven. It was the Green Pine leader who found me and gave me life. Long ago, in a life forgotten by time, he saved me from the brink with a warm fire and simple rice. That small mercy was the only light in my endless cycles of reincarnation, a memory I still cherish deeply. But I cannot reveal my past. I must weave a clever lie to explain my sudden appearance here. I told them my mother owed their father a life debt, and I am here to settle that score. I am but an illegitimate son, I lied, using my meager skills to repay a kindness from long ago. Chu Luen looked at me, completely stunned. Could it be that you... But I cut him off instantly. You are right, I said. But first, tell me, why has this legendary agency fallen into such ruin? They were once the 10 great agencies. I needed to know the tragedy that had stripped away their glory. His sister, Chi Luen, stepped forward. Her voice trembled as she began to recount their tragic downfall. The White Horse Agency betrayed us. They paid blood-soaked bandits to ambush our caravans and steal our honor. My father, the chief, fought to his last breath to protect our legacy, only to die by their blades. My mother went to find evidence of their crimes, but she vanished into the shadows, never to return. I stared at them in silence. Their pain was a mirror to the many tragedies I had witnessed before. Chi Luen felt a chill. My eyes were too cold, too sharp for someone so young. A true monster gaze. I apologize for reopening your wounds, I spoke softly. But the time for mourning had passed. She shook her head. No, this pain fuels my resolve. I won't turn away help, even from a stranger. I wish I had more time to share your grief, I said, standing up. But we must move now. I led them out. My eyes were locked on the boy. Chu Luen was the key to everything. His movements were unrefined, but his foundation was solid, a rough diamond waiting for the master's touch. He was suffocating his own potential through sheer overwork. His body was a cage he could not escape, but the boy had fire in his eyes. With the right guidance, he would become a god of war. Soon, he will be strong enough to crush those who wronged him. The training starts now. We have no time to waste, I barked. Before he could blink, I launched my first strike. My fist blurred through the air. To his credit, he raised his arms in a desperate, instinctive defense. I swept his legs and pinned him down. Too stiff. Your muscles are like iron, but for the wrong reasons. His sister screamed in terror, but the boy's roar cut her off. He knew exactly what this was. Stay back, sister. This is my only chance to grow strong. I will not fail my revenge. She froze. She realized I was not attacking him. I was forging him in the fires of combat. Determination blazed in his eyes. He stood up, ready to strike back with everything he had left. He lunged, but his strength was hollow. I dismantled his spirit with a barrage of precise blows. He collapsed, broken and gasping. I turned to walk away. That is enough for today, I stated. Not yet, he wheezed. The boy refused to stay down. His will was truly something legendary. Rest, child. Your body needs to heal to transcend. Follow my lead, and you will see. The sun rose on a new day. The siblings stood in the courtyard, a strange energy buzzing between them. The boy was ecstatic. Sister, something is happening. My blood feels like it is boiling with new power. I was paralyzed yesterday, but now I feel lighter than air. My internal energy is finally steady. Chi Luen gasped. And your bruises? They are gone. How is this even possible in one night? I feel reborn, he shouted. Was this a miracle? Is this what it feels like to be strong? You are early, I remarked, stepping from the shadows. They both bowed with newfound, profound respect. Young master, did you sleep well? They asked in unison, their eyes filled with pure awe. Better than ever, the boy beamed. Did you use a secret technique on my pressure points last night? I shrugged. I simply unblocked your clogged meridians and let your tired muscles breathe again. He stared at his trembling hands. This is what my body was meant to be? It is incredible. You must maintain this state, I warned. Your body is a temple that requires time to truly evolve. Tell me, I continued, eyeing his stance. What kind of weapon have you been training with until now? Yes, I'm perfecting our family's secret arts, Chu Luen replied. Tran Hao, possessing ancient wisdom, merely observed. Show me your progress then, Tran Hao commanded. After days of training, the final tournament day finally arrived. Tran Hao walked with the chief, who felt a strange surge of confidence. I've never felt this energetic, he admitted. Is it because of this duel? The vice chief asked. The atmosphere was electric as the grand competition reached its peak. There is nothing to worry about, Tran Hao replied calmly. The chief laughed, his trust in Tran Hao absolute and unwavering. I believe in you more than anyone, the chief said. You're like a divine guardian sent to save us from above. Tran Hao felt awkward at the high praise, but the chief's eyes blazed with a fierce, burning determination to win. This is our chance to crush those snakes, he whispered. Deliver a devastating blow to those arrogant family bastards. Just sit back and enjoy the show, Tranhao promised. Suddenly, the siblings Qiluan and Chuluan rushed over. Are you ready? Tranhao asked. Chuluan nodded. I am 60% certain I can defeat that bastard Jiang. That is enough, Tranhao smiled. The arena was packed, the crowd roaring as the legendary duel finally drew near. Begin the match, the referee thundered. Pham Nguyen Jiang stepped forward, his face twisted in a dark, mocking sneer. Running away is the only brave thing you know, Jiang taunted. Your predecessor's reckless pride cost him his life. Chu Luan gripped his blade, his heart steady. Today, you will learn that our agency is no longer weak, he countered. Tran Hao watched in silence. Every lesson, every grueling hour of training was about to be tested on the stage. His internal energy seems overwhelming, a teammate whispered. But Tran Hao knew that true power wasn't just about force. Energy isn't everything when a master trains you, Doan replied. Physical power pales before the main character's divine mastery. You've grown bold after befriending that thick family cripple? Jiang laughed. But a beggar remains a beggar in the end. Before the insult finished, Chu Luan lunged. His blade sang through the air, a lethal arc aimed at his foe. Jiang's speed was terrifying, forcing Chu Luan back. The sheer pressure of his opponent's power felt like a crushing mountain. But Tran Hao's words echoed in his mind. He could see it, the flow of movement, the hidden openings in Jiang's form. Even as he stumbled, Chu Luan focused. Jiang's strength was immense, but strength without vision is merely a blunt tool. How can I not block a single hit? Chu Luan wondered. He remembered Tran Hao fighting without using any internal energy. It's all about eye placement, Tran Hao had told him with a cold, piercing gaze. But there was more to it. Not just sight, but distance, Tran Hao corrected. Where you look determines whether you live or die in this battle. Tran Hao had asked where his gaze was fixed. On you, master. Chu Luan had answered honestly during their training session. Wrong, Tran Hao had snapped, pointing his blade. You are still staring at the tip of my sword, you amateur. But shouldn't I watch the weapon? Chu Luan asked. Tran Hao shook his head. That was a one-way path to defeat. If you wait for the blade to move, it's already too late. In the present, Chu Luan finally understood that lesson. Before him, Pham Nguyen Jiang was gasping for air. His frantic, violent attacks had all failed to find their mark. Jiang was technically superior, but Chu Luan had decoded his rhythm. The days of observing the master were finally paying off. He watched the shift in Jiang's weight and the subtle movement of his feet. The center of gravity revealed every move. He saw the shoulder tense and the torso rotate. Using pure intuition and observation, he waited for the perfect moment. This was the opening. Chu Luan struck like a viper, seizing a victory that everyone thought was completely impossible. His blade drew blood, catching Jiang off guard. Chi Luan cheered from the sidelines, her heart swelling with sudden pride. He's actually done it, she cried. But Tran Hao remained cold. Don't celebrate yet. The real fight starts right now. Chi Luan's smile faded into worry. On the stage, Pham Nguyen Jiang's face transformed into a mask of demonic rage. He saw his father's disappointed glare and felt a shiver. Fear turned into a boiling, uncontrollable fury within his soul. I won't lose to a nobody, he hissed. He couldn't let his father see him defeated by a mere peasant rat. His blood boiled with humiliation. How could a genius like him be touched by a worthless, weak little commoner? His arrogance reached a breaking point. This time, Jiang decided to end it with a single, lethal, and bloody execution. He unleashed a barrage of savage strikes, his blade a blur of violent motion fueled by pure, unadulterated hatred. Even with his new vision, Chu Luan struggled. The sheer ferocity of the attack was like a devastating storm. Jiang charged like a madman, blinded by his desperate need to win. Could Chu Luan survive this final, lethal onslaught? The crowd held its breath in stunned silence. The outcome of this legendary clash hung by a single, fraying thread. Jin Hao stood like an unmoving mountain, observing the clash with chilling composure. Even against a superior foe, his gaze remained sharp. While his companions trembled with anxiety, the legendary aura within Jin Hao remained undisturbed. Ma Long paced frantically, fearing the absolute worst. One cannot grow by only facing the weak, Jin Hao muttered. To him, the path to survival was simple, know when to retreat. Yet, victory demands a heavy price. Despite the grueling wounds, Chu Luan's fighting spirit blazed brighter than ever, refusing to back down. He charged forward with a ferocity that defied logic, shocking his opponent. It was a desperate dance on the edge of death. As Jin Hao predicted, it was a brutal trade of flesh for bone, a calculated sacrifice to seize a fleeting moment of glory. By enduring a devastating blow, Chu Luan found the opening to crush Pham Nguyen Jiang. Victory was snatched from the jaws of defeat. With the battle over, they journeyed toward the Yellow River. A new dream took root to establish a humble sanctuary for martial arts. In an instant, the soaring heaven martial arts hall stood proud. Ma Long gazed at the sign, his eyes gleaming with icy excitement. "Will I truly be the first disciple of this legendary place?" Ma Long asked, his heart racing with newfound hope and ambition. Jin Hao's reply was indifferent yet firm. His name was already whispered in the shadows, a hidden power beginning to stir. "You aren't just a young master anymore. You are the hall master." Ma Long cheered, before Hak Hui silenced him with a swift kick. Jin Hao chuckled inwardly as the chaos unfolded. "Settle in first," Hak Hui grumbled. "We can worry about grand titles later." Suddenly, a messenger arrived bearing a tribute from the great caravan leader, a gift to mark the beginning of a new era. Jin Hao looked on as the man explained. "For any great master, a sturdy carriage and swift horses are essential for dominance. May these steeds carry the soaring heaven hall to prosperity," the messenger bowed. A symbolic start for the hidden dragon's nest. Jin Hao accepted the gesture with a stoic nod. Not only Ma Long, but even the humble wet nurse felt the shifting tides. The location was perfect, a sanctuary blessed by the heavens. With the vast sea ahead, a sense of peace settled over them. "I am glad you find comfort here," Jin Hao remarked. But peace was merely the foundation for the busy days to come. The wet nurse would oversee the daily life of the hall, from the lush gardens to the livestock that sustained them. Though the work was daunting, she felt a profound sense of belonging. In this new beginning, she found her true purpose. Her first sacred duty was to guard the massive fortune entrusted by the Shi family, a weight that felt like a mountain. Seeing her hesitation, Jin Hao offered a reassuring glance. He knew the burden of wealth was heavy for the uninitiated. "I have mountains of work ahead," he said softly. "I cannot manage this without your unwavering support and loyalty." Empowered by his words, she vowed to protect every coin. Meanwhile, Jin Hao signaled the others to finalize their new home. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the hall was complete. The time had come to venture into the bustling Yellow River market. It was their first taste of the local life. Doan and Jin Hao wandered through the stalls, seeking the necessities of survival. "We seem to be buying the whole market," Doan joked, clutching their few meager belongings from their long, arduous journey. Jin Hao laughed, grateful they had brought heavy trunks. Tomorrow, the livestock would arrive, completing their small, private empire. "But what of our stomachs?" the wet nurse interrupted. The scent of street food began to waft through the evening air. "Follow your nose," Jin Hao replied. But before he could finish, Ma Long's god-tier sense of smell had already locked onto a target. Like a predator hunting its prey, Ma Long dashed toward a distant aroma, leading the exhausted group toward a hidden tavern. The building looked weathered and ancient, yet the scent was divine. Exhausted from their labors, they decided to step inside. Jin Hao led the way, expecting a quiet meal. But as the doors creaked open, the atmosphere shifted into something far more sinister. The stench of violence hung heavy in the air. A group of thugs was busy terrorizing two helpless souls on the floor. Ma Long's blood boiled at the sight of the weak being bullied. He stepped forward to intervene, but Jin Hao's hand stopped him. "I came for a quiet meal." Jin Hao's voice rang out, cold and sharp. "It seems I've arrived at a most inconvenient time." The lead thug sneered, his eyes dripping with arrogance. He looked at Jin Hao like a tiger looks at a stray lamb. "New in town, aren't you?" the thug mocked, eyeing their heavy luggage. He assumed they were mere travelers with deep pockets. Jin Hao remained unfazed, his hidden power coiled like a spring. "It is indeed our first day," he replied calmly. "Then we shall become very well acquainted," the thug barked. "I am Ao Junji of the formidable Hong clan. Remember it." Jin Hao's eyes flashed with a dangerous light. "I am Jin Hao, master of the Soaring Heaven Hall. Now, move aside." Stunned by the stranger's lack of fear, the thug spat on the ground and retreated, calling his lackeys to follow him. "Even small fry must earn their keep," he grumbled. To Jin Hao, this petty threat was nothing more than dust in the wind. He ignored the retreating cowards and turned to the trembling shopkeeper. "Is it still possible to get a table?" The young siblings were still trembling with fear, yet they offered their guests 4 bowls of steaming beef noodles. Chen Hao fixed his piercing and majestic gaze upon Ma Long, testing the man's very soul with a silent question. "Would you truly stand and fight every time a situation like this arose?" Ma Long remained frozen and speechless. Chen Hao continued, "A righteous spirit is noble for any martial artist, but the world is a cruel place. The moment you draw your sword, the ripples of fate change. If I had simply chased them away, those hyenas would surely return to haunt these siblings. Will you be their eternal shield when they strike again? Or did you think a single act of kindness was enough to clear your conscience?" Ma Long fell into deep silence. "I did not teach you martial arts, just to endure these petty insults." Chen Hao's voice grew heavy with authority. His tone turned ice cold. If you choose to intervene, you must ensure no traces of resentment remain behind. Not even a single thread of karma should linger when you depart. Ma Long felt the weight of these profound words. This harsh lesson was the absolute truth, leaving even the stoic Yoon in complete awe of his master. There was no need for concern since Chen Hao had already revealed his name to silence the local thugs. Once those cowards realize who he truly is, their masks of bravery will shatter. Ma Long found this incredibly cool. Just then, 4 bowls of aromatic beef noodles were served. The scent alone was enough to stir the heavens. Even the nanny, a master of the kitchen herself, was stunned by the young cook's incredible culinary talent. Everyone took a deep sip of the rich broth, their souls nearly drifting away from the pure heavenly flavor. "It is delicious," they shouted, causing the embarrassed owner to credit her sick grandmother's secret recipe instead. She explained that her grandmother was currently unwell, though the group was too busy slurping to notice anything else. The flavor was so divine, it made Chen Hao crave to return the moment the old matriarch fully recovered. He suddenly asked the young girl, "Why did those thugs come here? Were they trying to collect a debt?" She confessed everything, explaining how they used their life savings and a small loan to open this humble shop. But fate was cruel. Her grandmother fell ill, and they fell slightly behind on their monthly payments. Though her heart was heavy with sorrow, she forced a bright smile, unwilling to burden her guests with her pain. After she walked away, Chen Hao sat in deep contemplation, staring at his unfinished bowl of noodles. A sick grandmother and 2 young siblings, this situation was far more dire than it appeared on the surface. Despite the shop's dilapidated state, its incredible flavor had clearly ignited the greed of those local bottom feeders. He realized their scheme. They intended to swallow this shop whole by trapping the family in a web of high interest. They would squeeze the life out of these children, keeping them just barely alive to pay off debts for eternity. Rage simmered beneath Chen Hao's calm exterior, yet he remained patient, watching for the perfect moment to strike. According to his grand design, these fools would be dealt with soon enough, and their reckoning would be absolute. After their satisfying meal, they returned to the martial arts academy to prepare for the coming dawn. By the next morning, Yoon was already training at the beach, his spirit overflowing with vibrant, explosive energy. He faced the crashing waves as if they were mortal enemies, while Ma Long struggled against the ocean's mighty pull. A massive swell swept Ma Long away, and he cried out for salvation until Yoon swiftly pulled him to safety. Chen Hao warned him never to lose his footing again, but Ma Long could only blame the shifting, treacherous sands. Chen Hao smiled, feeling refreshed, and reminded them that even struggling in the sand was a form of mastery. There is no better way to forge legendary lower body strength than training against the resistance of the shore. For a first day, your progress is not half bad. These rare words of praise sent Ma Long into pure ecstasy. But his joy was short-lived, as Chen Hao reminded him that arrogance is the fastest path to a warrior's downfall. Their grueling training session finally ended, and it was time to relax and gather fresh seafood for their dinner. Soon their baskets were overflowing with fish and clams, yet the disciples wondered if this was truly enough work. They lacked a proper restaurant, and they worried about their young master working so hard while they just fished. Chen Hao simply turned away, telling them to focus on their assigned tasks and leave the rest to him. The foundation of their daily life was now stable. It was finally time to settle the scores in the outside world. Chen Hao checked his coin pouch. He had enough gold to finally set his grand plan into motion. Wealth wasn't guaranteed just yet. A dojo wouldn't profit instantly. He meditated, firm in his path. A strong foundation takes time. To make the sect flourish, he needed a masterful plan. He assigned his loyal subordinates. Until the dojo stabilizes, a temporary income is vital. Diving into the deep unknown, Jin Hao plunged into the river. It was teeming with spiritual beasts. Power for consumption, gold for sale. In the freezing depths, he calculated his next move. Spiritual treasures were everywhere. Inner power or cold hard cash. He sought a 50-year pearl. A century-old one was rare. Fate had to be on his side. Jin Hao began his hunt, navigating through the heavy current. Suddenly, his eyes locked onto a massive, ancient target. A gargantuan oyster appeared. This was his true goal. Found you at last, he smirks. Sensing danger, it shut tight. An ironclad defense. Jin Hao noted its sharp instincts. It tried to flee. He pinned it down instantly. Looking at the shell, it was ancient. 500 years old! Perfect for a complete body reconstruction. He brought it to shore. The shell was like steel. Ordinary strength was useless. Time to unleash his spiritual energy? Nice try, but you're outmatched. A web of cracks formed. The legendary shell finally yielded. With a snap, it opened. 5 centuries of spiritual energy flooded the air instantly. The real prize? The inner Dan. He swallowed it whole. Pure energy ignited within him. His body became a battlefield. A storm raged inside his soul. Massive waves of power surged. Beneath the chaos, he stayed calm. the primordial heavenly thunder art began its violent surge. The core's power flooded his veins, circulating through all 8 meridians. His body was being reborn. Thunder Chi devoured the energy, striking his meridians 100 times, shattering every single bottleneck. The final gate crumbled. His paths were fully cleared. Bone marrow cleansing was complete. 4 hours of intense evolution. Jinhao exhaled a golden breath. His presence had completely shifted, halfway to my past peak. Though lacking mana now, time was finally on his side. He rushed back to the manor. Long time no see, lady. His arrival was sudden and bold. No trouble getting here, right? This isn't the thick Jia manor. Let's drop the formalities now. Call me big sister then, my Long snapped back. Our ages aren't that different, anyway. Understood, sister. Names aside, they headed inside to discuss business. They stood before an old crate. This is the goods, he said. Inside lay the giant shell. He asked for an appraisal. One look, and she froze. Her eyes widened in pure disbelief. Is this a living red shell? My Long was visibly shaken. Could he have actually caught it? A legend of the deep. Even master martial artists spend 50 years searching in vain. 100-year shells are myths. Finding one requires heaven's favor. Yet, here it was. Jinhao smirked confidently. I caught it myself. That's why I'm here to trade. Even for me, it wasn't easy. Sell this through your channels. Give me a fair price. Only a fool would haggle over a legendary treasure like this. My Long was hooked. Wait, how did you find it? She asked, her voice trembling. Then, a stranger question followed. Is a 1,000-year shell possible? Only fate grants such miracles. She made a bold move. She offered an exclusive contract. Top-tier benefits were on the table, high prices and total secrecy. I'll pay above market rates. But all high-grade treasures must go through me only. Jinhao pondered the offer. I can't guarantee the volume. These shouldn't become common items. Precisely what I want, she agreed. But something felt off. Why pay extra upfront? A merchant paying extra? Jinhao sensed a hidden motive. Someone was looking for the legend. Is someone seeking the 1,000-year shell? She remained silent. Some secrets are worth gold. You'll find out soon enough. For now, just focus on distribution. He clapped, sealing the deal. The contract was signed. These kids have no idea just how valuable this is. The trade is sealed as twilight falls. My Long prepares to leave, but the sovereign feels a lingering regret. Won't you stay for dinner? She scoffs. Every second is gold. I must find a buyer who appreciates high-value goods. Spoken like a true merchant, she signed the contract with absolute confidence, ready to flip a massive profit. Let us look after each other then. She vanishes into the night, her carriage wheels echoing against the silent road. Ma Long whispers to the master. Is she really leaving without a meal? Jinho smiles. The deal was more than enough to fill me. The price was steep, but the centennial red ginseng is a legendary treasure. It is worth every drop of effort. This power will change the tide of the succession war. The nanny offers to cook, but Jinho has other plans. It is late. Let us head to that beef noodle shop. I have been craving their broth since last time. Everyone agrees, eager for rest after the day's tension. But as they arrive, the shop is pitch black. Closed? Jinho's eyes narrow in suspicion. Does a shop like this really shut down so early? He wonders. The nanny worries. Did something happen to the old woman? Ma Long remembers the thugs who harassed them before. Doan stays alert, scanning the shadows. A woodcutter passing by stops near them, the weight of sorrow etched on his face. Jinho approaches. Excuse me, uncle. Do you know why the noodle shop is shuttered tonight? The man sighs. They are at the grave site. The grandmother. Her long battle finally ended. She collapsed days ago and never woke up. Yesterday, the neighbors helped the orphans lay her to rest. Jinho's expression hardens. Where is this grave? At the mountain entrance, just up ahead, the man points. The four rush toward the mountain path. Suddenly, Jinho senses a foul, murderous energy lingering in the air. He invents a quick excuse to protect the nanny. I forgot! The livestock are starving. You three head back first. He speaks with a cold authority that stops them cold. Doan, take the nanny home. That is an order. Doan realizes the danger and pulls her away. The pigs are probably screaming by now. Let us go, nanny. Once they are out of sight, Jinho exhales. Good. Some sights are far too vulgar for her eyes. Ma Long is puzzled, but Jinho is already moving. Stay back. The vultures have already gathered at the corpse. He leaps into the shadows, silent as death. Below, thugs are cornering the orphans near the fresh mound of earth. Hand over the shop or die. Do you want to join your grandmother in the dirt? How can we find that much money by morning? The children cower, their world collapsing under the thugs' boots. Tutuyet can no longer contain her rage. How greedy can you be? She screams through her tears. You come here to talk about money before the funeral is even over? Have you no shame, you monsters? Are you only brave here because you are afraid of the sovereign? The thug's face turns purple with fury. You little brat, you think I will let that slide? I will send you to meet your grandmother right now. He raises his hand to strike the girl. The siblings embrace, waiting for the blow that will end it all. ***, but the blow never lands. ***, appears like a god of wrath, catching the thug's wrist in an iron grip. The sovereign, the master of the thundering heavens. He looks at the kids. Are you all right? Did they steal anything? Everything is under control now. Cover your sister's ears and turn your head. Do not watch. The thugs stand frozen. The crippled noble they mocked was exuding a pressure that felt like a mountain. With a sickening pop, Jinho crushes the leader's bones. The man's scream shatters the mountain's peace. Who else wants to try their luck? He asks. The other two goons are paralyzed by his killing intent. Cowards. I suppose I will have to find the source of this rot myself. The leader gags, trying to call for help. Do you truly believe the rumors? Jinho whispers. His fingers strike like lightning, sealing the man's pressure points. The thugs realize their mistake too late. The cripple was a monster hiding in plain sight. The brave die fast, but the cowards live to spread fear. You vermin are endless, are you not? I spared you once. I hoped you would learn your place. But his mercy has reached its absolute limit. If you insist on acting like insects, then you deserve an insect's death. There is no warmth left in his eyes. If you will not hide, you will be crushed. The air itself trembles with his hidden ancient power. A final, bone-chilling scream rings out through the silent forest. Only Jinho remains standing among the shadows. Go tell your master, he speaks to the darkness. The real nightmare has just begun. Jinho knew that to survive this cruel world, one must shed their humanity when the killing begins. After making an example of the thug, he ruthlessly banished the remaining lackeys from his sight forever. They fled like startled rats. Jinho turned to the young boy, commanding him to shield his sister. Do not look at the carnage, he warned. Little 𝒊𝒏 followed, trembling beneath her brother's protective shadow. She whispered in fear, asking where they were going. To the master's manor, far from this bloodbath. Once clear of the slaughter, Jinho brushed off their gratitude, focused only on the funeral's completion. With the past buried, he led the orphans to his own fortress, the great manor of Jinho. A warm welcome awaited them, mending their spirits. No one was more overjoyed than the kind nanny. Despite her exhaustion, she prepared a royal feast. Jinho urged her to rest, yet she refused. She lived to see them eat well. To honor her devotion, Jinho finally raised his own chopsticks. The feast began. Like a true guardian, the boy placed the best meat into his sister's bowl. Nanny's heart melted at the sight. Jinho then asked, "Do you intend to reopen your shop?" With no other path to survival, he offered them a legendary chance, a place within his own walls. Little 𝒊𝒏 would assist the nanny, while the boy trained with the elite guards. He was stunned. Nanny beamed with pure happiness. An honest soul like little 𝒊𝒏 was exactly what she needed. Ma Long laughed, noting the boy's sturdy frame. With enough beef noodles, he'd become a powerhouse. Everyone cheered for the new family members. But Jinho's voice turned serious, cutting through the joy. Running a business is a war for the inexperienced. You both lack the strength to survive alone. Stay here. Gain wisdom and power. If you ever wish to stand alone, I will let you go. Overwhelmed by this divine grace, the boy realized he owed a debt that could never be repaid. Do not mistake this for simple pity, Jinho countered, masking his benevolence with cold logic. We are short-staffed, and you are honest. Consider the benefits carefully before giving me your answer. The boy pondered. A shop was a dream, but without power, they were merely prey for wolves. He was too weak to protect his sister. Without the master's intervention, they would already be ghosts. But here, under the wing of a monster, he could learn the arts to truly protect her. The internal conflict ended. Determination blazed in his eyes as he stood with a heavy, new resolve. He bowed low, his voice echoing with conviction. I will work until I break. Please, accept me. Little 𝒊𝒏 joined him, pleading for a place. Jinho tested them. What about your wages? The boy didn't blink. The lessons and safety found here are worth more than any mountain of gold. Jinho smirked, letting a sliver of his hidden pressure leak out. So, no pay at all then? The boy stammered in panic, causing Jinho to let out a rare, amused chuckle at the sight. The nanny shall decide your pay, he joked. With that, the banquet officially turned into a celebration. Meanwhile, at the Evernight Pavilion, a gluttonous figure feasted on more than just expensive poultry. The Hongkat sect has crumbled, he muttered. Those cowards fled the moment the wind changed direction. This was the Golden Money Gang leader, speaking to the chilling presence of the Blood Devil himself. That loan shark took the gold and vanished. A predictable end for such a pathetic, greedy man. The Master of Evernight silenced the room. It is time we address the true thorn in our side. They were all there for one reason, the Soaring Heaven Academy and its mysterious, untraceable young master. They had watched from the darkness for long enough. Now, their collective patience had finally reached its limit. The Blood Devil demanded a strategy. He is a Seol family bastard, yet his connections run deep. 𝒏𝒗𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 devoured a third chicken leg, haunted by how easily the boy crushed the elite. A direct confrontation is suicide. Even victory would bring the wrath of the great 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃 family. The Evernight leader burst into mocking laughter. Such simple-minded fears from the supposed lords of gambling. "Do not be so rigid," he sneered. "I have a way to erase him without lifting a finger. Why stain our own blades? We shall simply borrow the hand of another to finish this brat. A killer's blade needs a scapegoat. Use gold to bury that brat and let the blood demon finish it. Are you suggesting we frame the 100 Demon Bureau? The life and death sex assassins are elite, but isn't the price too steep? Still, we can't send amateurs." 𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 snapped his fingers with a dark, cunning smirk. At his age, he is just a fledgling. The Black Death Gate is enough. Suddenly, the heavy doors groaned open. A maid brought ink and scrolls. "Since the deal is sealed, sign this blood pact and bind our fates. We need a chain to hold us together." Faced with 𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆's malice, the others signed with trembling, hesitant hands. Back at the estate, Zhenhao and Black Hugh practiced calligraphy. His movements held a strange, divine, martial grace. Watching him was mesmerizing. The way he held the brush mirrored the lethal precision of his hidden ancient power. The stroke's weight shifted with his inner strength, reflecting his soul's true intent in every drop of black ink. Bored, the black cat dipped its paw in ink and stomped a massive print onto Zhenhao's sacred parchment. Zhenhao laughed, finding it clever. Suddenly, a foul, ominous energy poisoned the air, making his skin crawl. Black Hugh sensed it too. Something filthy was lurking nearby. Both instantly shifted into a lethal, high-alert combat stance. The inevitable had finally arrived. Even a worm will turn when stepped on. Zhenhao threw the door open. He tracked the stench toward his nanny's quarters. A classic diversion kidnapped the hostage to lure him into an ambush. "They plan to strike my back while I am distracted. Didn't I warn them to act human just recently? Are words not enough for these beasts?" Inside the room, the nanny slept soundly after a day of toil. A towering shadow loomed behind her door. He slid it open, creeping toward her like a silent, hungry predator. But Zhenhao was faster. "That is enough," he whispered. The assassin nearly collapsed in sheer, primal terror. "Don't wake the sleeping, for I have come personally." His voice from the shadows sent the killer's heart racing. Panic surged. "I have been found," the killer thought, desperately leaping onto the roof to escape the monster. Zhenhao remained calm, his footsteps echoing with authority. "Black Hugh," he commanded, "do not let him vanish." He knew the cat wouldn't lose a mere amateur. Then, like a bolt of lightning, Zhenhao vanished in pursuit. The fugitive felt a chilling shiver down his spine. Before he could react, Zhenhao stood right behind him. The air turned heavy. "Let us settle this between us." Zhenhao's voice was lower than the grave itself. The intruder gasped. This wasn't a man, it was a demon. He was just across the yard a second ago. In that split second, Zhenhao delivered a devastating punch. The impact shattered the assassin's face and his pride. Blood sprayed as he flew backward. Accepting this contract was a fatal mistake. The mission was a total disaster. Zhenhao gripped his throat with iron strength. "I won't let you die so easily," he hissed with fury. He reached into the man's mouth, snatching the suicide pill. The killer stared in horror at his godlike speed. This isn't a novice or some young master. This is an ancient monster in a young man's skin. Tossing the pill aside, Zhenhao revealed a cold corpse. "Your comrade already failed," he threatened with icy eyes. "You have two choices. 1. Confess and die quickly. 2. Suffer through hell and then confess before dying. I don't care which you choose. The night is long." The assassin began to sob in utter, hopeless despair. His voice trembled as he finally broke. "The Black Ghost, Thousand Gold Gang, and Evernight Pavilion. They sent us. They are gathering at the pavilion right now." He tried to flee, but Zhenhao's gaze was like death. Ma Long and Yoon arrived just in time. "Handle the runner," Zhenhao ordered. "Do not let him escape." The disciples obeyed instantly. Zhenhao noted they had sensed the killing intent while asleep. They were finally progressing. Standing before the great gate, his voice turned frigid. "Tonight, you will kill. If you fear it, leave now. But if you quit, forget everything I taught you. A half-hearted warrior is better off dead than living poorly." Ma Long and Yoon didn't flinch. "We won't back down," they shouted with fire. Zhenhao nodded slowly. Inside the mansion, the three conspirators waited. "Why is there no news yet?" one muttered, sensing something was wrong. For a martial artist, a life of failure is far more cruel than a sudden death. The path you walk is yours to decide. Ma Long and Don didn't waver, their resolve burning like a wildfire. I won't quit, neither will I. Chen Hao nodded. Then let us move out. Deep within the mansion, 3 powerful figures gathered in the shadows. Kim Thuyarung, Bat Dalao, and the dreaded blood ghost. Still no word? One hissed impatiently. Don't tell me those fools actually managed to fail such a simple mission. A sense of doom loomed. The Evernight Lord slammed the table, cursing the bad omen. Words have power! Suddenly, a noise echoed. The blood demon demanded to know who lurked. But the Lord stayed calm, dismissing it as nothing more than the whistling wind. Not the wind. Before he finished, Chen Hao burst in, shocking them all instantly. Planning to kill me? Ready to die? The Lord frantically rang the alarm bell. An army surrounded him. Chen Hao merely smirked at the gathering crowd of fodder. Squashing pests is easier when they're all in one pile, he mocked with ice. Kill him! Blood Demon roared. The soldiers charged with savage, lethal killing intent. Chen Hao stood still. I wondered if you'd listen, but you chose certain death. I'll end this in one strike. His sword ignited with a blinding, divine radiance. A flash of steel, and the soldiers fell. The corrupt leaders watched in horror. Impossible! Blood Demon realized his fatal mistake. He had been far too arrogant. Their illusion of victory shattered. A single, agonizing scream echoed through the dark hall. Don't bother running, Chen Hao warned. Every single exit is already sealed tight. Outside, Ma Long and Yun butchered anyone trying to flee the bloody carnage. The Lord knelt, trembling. Forgive me, I'll pay any price for my miserable life. He looked up only to find a cold blade grazing his desperate, sweaty throat. No more words. Chen Hao decapitated him instantly. Blood painted the floor crimson red. You thought money could buy a life? Chen Hao's voice dripped with pure sarcasm. I gave you a chance to be human. You threw it all away greedily. We'll be good. We'll give you the county. The survivors begged for their lives. But Chen Hao knew better. Trash like them would only rot the world again. I thought about sparing you, he whispered, his eyes as cold as the grave. His blade pressed harder. But seeing your pathetic faces changed my mind today. A complete cleanup is much cleaner. He prepared for the final, finishing blow. Blood Demon lunged from behind. Chen Hao didn't even flinch at the desperate ambush. A suicide attack? He parried effortlessly. The demon smirked with hidden, vile malice. You're just a brat. He fired a secret, lethal poison needle at Chen's heart. But nothing escapes the protagonist's eyes. He saw the trap coming miles away. Just a poisonous bug. The demon froze. How did you see through my art? I am Blackie, the special cat of Mount Tai, following my legendary, divine master. Humans used to be boring, but life with my master was never, ever dull. Now, while master rules the humans, I shall rule over every beast here. Watching his master's divine majesty, the cat felt a fire within his feline soul. I'll hunt the Mountain King today. Morning light revealed the cat's sharp, predatory gaze. Blackie tracked the scents. Suddenly, a pup's pained howl echoed through the old trees. The scent of blood filled the air. Blackie sprinted toward the desperate, crying sound. The Mountain King, a massive, muscular beast, towered over the helpless, tiny wolf pups. Trying to kill babies? Blackie arrived just in time to block the fierce predator. This mountain is mine now, the cat roared, challenging the massive, legendary mountain beast. The beast lunged with razor claws, but the cat was far faster and agile. A powerful strike slammed the beast down. The Mountain King shrieked in sudden agony. Scram! Never show your face here again, Blackie growled with primal, kingly dominance. Terrified by the cat's overwhelming aura, the beast fled deep into the dark forest. The pups whimpered, looking at their savior while mourning their fallen, brave mother. Huck Hui glared at the pack, his aura overwhelming. From today, you serve me. Follow your master. Peace at the thick estate shattered instantly. The nanny's scream pierced the air. Young master, look. Chen Hao emerged, eyes sharp and cold. What is it? The nanny pointed toward the gates in terror. Huck Hui had returned, but not alone. Wild wolves trailed behind him. The disciples' breath caught in fear. Are these spirit beasts too? Ma Long wondered. Chen Hao smirked. With Huck Hui leading, they will obey. A hidden army was forming. One beast cannot guard everything. These wolves shall be our legendary sentinels. Strategic brilliance flared in Chen Hao's eyes. In the long run, these predators would become invincible guardians. Fine, he declared. Your names are now Than Lang, Huang Lang, and Heart Lang. Welcome to the sect. Primal howls echoed through the estate, signaling a change. A new power was awakening within these walls. Dawn broke. Chen Hao began his internal cultivation. His chi flowed like an ancient hidden river. Sudden, light footsteps approached. Asterisk, an uninvited guest? Asterisk, he thought. Then, a respectful voice called from the door. Messenger from the Tikfong Bureau? The boy bowed low, awestruck by the young master's intense presence. I just finished, Trunhar lied smoothly. He saw the burning hunger for strength in his disciples' eyes. Their bodies screamed a desperate desire to master the arts of death. They wanted power at any cost. The messenger handed over a sealed document. Trunhar broke the wax, revealing familiar, sharp handwriting. It was from the bureau chief. Greetings, Trunhar. I trust your hidden strength is growing well. My schedule was delayed, but I am coming personally. Wait for me. We have much to discuss. Business. And perhaps your true secrets. Signed, 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆. Trunhar's gaze turned towards the horizon. The storm was coming. The bureau's internal filth was finally surfacing. This was getting very interesting. He turned to his men. Gather everyone. The nanny, the disciples. We are going for a walk. The messenger scurried away in a panic. Trunhao headed for the nanny. A new plan unfolding. Young master? She asked, stunned. Why stop training so early? Has something terrible happened? The disciples were equally tense. Is it an emergency? Duan asked, his hand tightening on his blade. Are the enemies back? Ma Long whispered. Trunhar simply smiled, his expression completely unreadable. Relax. Today, we aren't fighting. We're going on a culinary tour of the entire city. Wait, what? Ma Long gasped. Just to find good food? Are you serious right now, young master? Who do you think I am? Trunhao chuckled. The nanny laughed, assuming it was a cooking lesson. Duan scratched his head, confused. But as they stopped, a grand building loomed before them. This place, the nanny murmured, it's the old inn we saw before the sect was even built. The management was a total mess, she recalled. I thought it had gone bankrupt months ago. Duan looked up at the new sign. The Harting Inn? Wait, nanny, isn't that your name? Indeed, Trunhar stated. It's named after its new owner. This is my gift to you, nanny. The nanny froze in utter shock. Trunhauer pressed the official deed into her trembling, pale hand. This is too much, she cried. Just the name would have been a legendary honor for me. The deed is already finalized, he insisted. If it's a burden, sell it. But you deserve this home. Tears welled in her eyes. The young master's generosity was as boundless as his hidden, ancient power. Please, accept it. It is a stronghold for our sect and a safe haven for our people. Inside, the inn was magnificent. Gold and silk adorned the halls. It was fit for absolute royalty. Dining on the first 2 floors, he explained. Living quarters for our elite warriors on the rest. The nanny nodded. As the Thung Tien sect grew, they needed a place to house their rising stars. I want no distractions at the training hall, Trunhar added. I am counting on you, nanny. I won't fail you, she vowed. Soon, the Hartin Inn became the most famous spot in town. Word spread of the sect's legendary kindness. Staff flocked to join, and the business exploded overnight. With the nanny's divine cooking, regulars lined up for miles. Everything was proceeding exactly as planned. But as the sun set on their success, the long-awaited guest finally arrived at the sect's gates. Master Hao, you have arrived. Uncle Duke Nguyet beamed, claiming that the young man's name was on everyone's lips. Banishing the dark sect and building a grand inn, Hao simply smiled, gently telling his uncle to stay quiet. He did not want to worry his nanny. Nguyet roared with laughter, understanding the young master's hidden concerns. Hao's eyes scanned the crowd following Thick Duke Nguyet. He stopped at a warrior named Qian Trong Duke, a Tier 1 master. Hao knew a test of strength was coming. No one gains respect without shedding blood. Testing the waters, Hao joked. So, uncle, are we finally getting down to business with this trial? I know you are a thick family disciple, but the Thang Thien dojo requires its own proof of worth. Hao's gaze turned cold and sharp. To elevate these lowly servants into grand instructors, you need a miracle. Show us their true power. Doan and Ma Long gasped, realizing the weight of the challenge ahead. Duke and Nguyet agreed instantly. Let us head to the arena and settle this once and for all. As they walked, Hao knew this was not about doubt, but about forcing the guards to submit completely. Warriors never truly follow a leader they do not fear. Ma Long, it is time for your debut. The man panicked. Me? Yes, you. Show them the absolute strength of a Thang Thien instructor. They stepped onto the stage. A voice rang out, asking the dojo master for permission to watch. Hao was curious. Do you have no interest in fighting? No, I will watch with deep gratitude. That gaze is perfect. Hao realized the boy had the natural bones of a legendary martial arts genius. With the right training, reaching the absolute realm would be easy. Meanwhile, the duel was about to begin. Ma Long stood firm, asking for guidance. His opponent mirrored the gesture, the tension reaching a breaking point. This was Ma Long's first time fighting before a crowd. His legs trembled, but his resolve remained unshaken. He lunged forward. The crowd gasped as a former servant moved with the speed of a soaring dragon. Is this the man who defeated a royal guard? The rumors of his hidden power were finally proven true. The bald warrior smirked. You have grown stronger than imagined. I shall fight you with my full strength. He struck like a lightning bolt. Ma Long felt the crushing pressure but refused to back down an inch. Fists clashed and feet blurred. They traded blows in a dance of death that left everyone speechless. Ma Long counterattacked, his sword techniques carving through the air with lethal, pinpoint precision. Blood sprayed across the floor. The warrior was stunned. How could a servant possess such terrifying resilience? Was it raw, external training or just luck? He would find out in the next few heart-stopping exchanges. They discarded technique for raw power, slamming their foreheads together with a bone-shattering thud. Both staggered back, exhausted, but Ma Long's forehead was stained crimson, leaving the warrior completely baffled. Suddenly, Ma Long unleashed a final, devastating strike. The bald man had no time to even blink. Agony surged through the warrior's body. But strangely, it was Ma Long who began coughing up blood. I accidentally released my internal chi. Uncle Duke 𝒏𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 quickly stepped in to break the suffocating silence. Stop. This friendly match has gone far enough. We end it here. Hao nodded in silent agreement. The victory was clear. Hao watched as the guards whispered in awe, their eyes filled with newfound respect. Did you see that? He endured the senior's heavy strikes and didn't even flinch. A true monster. His counters were like a viper's strike. Hao sighed, turning to see the shock on Doan's face. If I train at Thang Thien, can I become a god among men too? The winner was decided. The bald warrior rushed over, offering internal medicine. You have earned my respect, young instructor. Thank you. Your skill is terrifying, Ma Long laughed, admitting he lost control of his inner power. I spar with Doan daily. I've become a master of taking hits. Am I worthy to lead now? More than worthy. The other guards bowed, shouting their desire to learn from such a powerhouse. Instructors, please guide us. Hao felt a surge of pride. The hierarchy was finally set in stone. Uncle 𝒏𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 approached, grinning. Your merchandise is even better than I dreamed. Let us discuss the price. They moved to a private room. After reading the scrolls, 𝒏𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆's excitement could no longer be contained. 30, 60, and 90-day courses? And a half-year program for free? This is a revolution. Blood tells no lies. 20 days in, and the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Bulk contracts mean deep discounts. It's a classic business lure, but including room and board makes it irresistible. The deal is sealed. The clock starts tomorrow, plus an extra day of meals and lodging on the house. 6 months minimum, Chen Hao suggests. 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 clicks his tongue, admitting he was aiming for that exact duration. But he has a concern. Instead of just a deposit, he plans to bring high-ranking escorts for 5-year stints. Currently, only grade 2 and 3 escorts are signing up. Grade 1s prefer freedom over being tied down. They'll leave if they find better prospects. You want me to reject individual commissions, right? Chen Hao clarifies. For now, yes. This is our first major pact. 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆, truly? I'm in your debt. Chen Hao. Finding elite talent in this field is a nightmare. Chen Hao adds a cold condition. No refunds for deserters. 𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 laughs heartily. Don't worry, they'd rather die than run away from this opportunity. Night falls over the thick manor. Chen Hao stands alone in the shadows until Ma Long approaches. Master, you summoned me? Ma Long scans the empty courtyard, confused by the lack of other disciples. Just you, Chen Hao replies. Ma Long's spine tingles with a sudden, overwhelming sense of dread. Special training? Are you going to personally discipline me? He recalls his internal injuries from earlier today. I lack talent, so I must work twice as hard. Suddenly, Chen Hao demands, hand over your sword. Confused but obedient, Ma Long complies. Chen Hao inspects the blade, offering a rare, subtle nod of approval. Step back, I have something to show you. Chen Hao begins to gather a massive, terrifying amount of chi. He unleashes a series of strikes fluid yet devastating. Ma Long watches, breathless, moved by the sheer mastery. It's a sight so cool it borders on divine. Did you memorize it? Chen Hao's voice snaps the silence. The question hits Ma Long like a thunderbolt. Memorize? That? He gasps, completely caught off guard. Of course! This is the new secret art you will master. Ma Long's heart soars with pure excitement. Is this a first-class technique? How far can I go? What's the next level of this power? Ma Long's enthusiasm turns into a barrage of questions, making Chen Hao sigh with exhaustion. It's called the 9 lightning chasing styles. Master this, and you'll shatter the ceiling of the absolute realm. Eventually, Your own accumulated foundation will serve you better than learning any new flashy move. Ma Long nods, finally grasping the weight of the gift. I see, but I have one last question. The movements were a bit slow for a technique named chasing lightning, weren't they? Was that intentional? That was for your slow eyes. Master it, and your strikes will fall like a continuous storm of thunder. Ma Long bows deeply. I will train until I am known as the lightning chaser. Stop talking and start memorizing. During the grueling session, Ma Long collapses repeatedly under the pressure of Chen Hao's overwhelming aura. Exhausted, he gasps for air. Chen Hao smiles. Ready for more tomorrow? Absolutely. Ma Long replies instantly. I expected this level of intensity. I won't back down. Training ends for the night. Good work, everyone. Chen Hao worries about young Xiaojiang's progress. With Yun and Ma Long busy with chores, he notices someone else training with ferocious intensity in the dark. Why is he so different from Ma Long? The mysterious figure isn't even an official student yet. I can't ask the master for more. He's already given me so much. Asking for personal lessons would be shameless. Even if he taught me, my body might break. But I'd push past my limits to learn his secrets. Every night, I forge my body alone. Ma Long said basic strength is the foundation of everything. If you keep this up, you'll collapse from overwork, a voice warns. Chen Hao had been watching silently. Later, in the master's study, there's a letter from Thick Manor. Come in, I was about to call you. Me? The worker enters cautiously. Chen Hao asks directly, do you want to learn the way of the sword? No. Providing me shelter is enough. I shouldn't ask for more. Chen Hao turns away. Fine, then forget it. That reversal works. Wait, I do want to learn. More than anything, Xiao Shui only has me. I must protect her until she marries. Without money, I need the power to defend. Chen Hao strokes his chin. Pure motivation is the best fuel. If I teach you, be prepared for hell. Study? Between managing the inn and your chores, you'll be worked to the bone. The martial arts training alone is enough to kill a normal man. You won't finish. Properly completing your duties seems impossible. Forget about martial arts. No, master. Jinho's eyes burned with resolve. I'll do everything. To protect little Snow, I'll endure any hell. Fine. Starting tomorrow, train with the escort disciples. But listen well, do not neglect your duties at the hall. Master, thank you. This feels like a dream. I'll work harder than anyone. Sleep well, master. Jinho bowed and stepped out. He recalled the letters from Zhenlong and Qilong. Someone was definitely spying on him. They likely know about the 100-year red root. I expected this, but it still tastes bitter. They are far too arrogant. I must teach them a lesson in true humility. At the inn, Jinho surveyed the empty tables. The crowd is thin. It's a bit disappointing. I agree. With a bit more care, we could attract many more guests. The nanny hesitated. Speak freely, Jinho urged. What is our inn truly missing? A signature dish. Successful inns always have that one flavor guests can't forget. Sharp as always, nanny. I've been worried about that too. Our food is just convenient. We prioritized feeding the disciples, so nothing stands out to a passing traveler. Jinho smiled, patting her shoulder. Then, I leave it to you. Create our legend. I'll craft a dish that defines the Hatin Inn. Don't overwork yourself, young master. Suddenly, Ma Long shouted, Master! Lady My Long of the Sek family has arrived. She's here, but she's traveling with someone possessing a terrifying, strange aura. A martial artist? Jinho narrowed his eyes. Jinho, my brother, it's been too long. You arrive without words, sister, and you bring such a dangerous guest to my door? How cold. But I understand. Behind her stood a man from the Sichuan Tang clan, a master of poisons. Did you think I'd welcome a man like that with open arms? I have my reasons. I begged her to let me meet the master of this hall. His humble tone was unexpected. Come inside. I'll hear your reasons before I judge. I am Guanmin of the Sichuan Tang clan, and I am Jinho, master of the Soaring Hall. Guanmin studied him. Rumors said a hidden dragon had appeared in Hebei. Could it be? Despite knowing my identity, he shows zero fear. His guard is absolutely perfect. No calluses or scars? Did he achieve body reconstruction at such a young age? Impossible. But it was his gaze that chilled Guanmin. Even the clan's heirs flinch under my eyes. Yet this boy remains as calm as a deep, still lake. I have one question, Jinho said. How did you find out about the 100-year red root? And why do you need it? My Long looked shocked. How did he know about the Tang clan's involvement so quickly? The rumors must have reached them first. I didn't think it would escalate this much. You wouldn't leak such secrets lightly, sister. So, tell me, who gave you the information? I will explain everything. But first, master, I must correct one thing you said. It isn't the 100-year root I seek. I am hunting for the 1,000-year purple root. The 1,000-year root? That is pure greed. Do you seek to transcend mortality? No. My nephew is dying of a rare poison. Only the ancient records hold the cure. But the 1,000-year purple root is the vital ingredient. And it's nowhere to be found. Despair took us, until the beggar gang whispered news of the 𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 family's treasure. I know my intrusion is rude, but I was desperate. I had to find you. I am here not as a master of poison, but as an uncle saving his kin. Jinho's expression softened. A life hanging by a thread. I understand that weight well. The shop owner claims he can find the 1,000-year purple shell? I'll try. But great hero Dang knows such spirit artifacts only appear to those chosen by fate. Of course, find that shell, and I'll provide absolute support for any endeavor. I'll say it again. I cannot guarantee success, but even if we fail, I will. Never forget your aid. Grandmaster Gunmin desperately needs the 𝒏𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 clan's favor. Gaining their debt now is a masterstroke. The more trump cards, the better, though the owner searches tirelessly every day. Tonight ends in vain once more. Time is running out. Standing atop the jagged cliffs, Gunmin scans misty lake. A voice echoes. So, you are here? Gunmin turns. You've arrived? Jinhao always delivers far. More than expected. Just endure a little longer. You must place your absolute faith in the shop owner. Wait. Suddenly, in the distance, a boat appears. The owner has returned. But that object in his hand, could it be? Jinhao holds something radiant. Look, I told you to trust me. Gunmin's heart soars with pure joy. Thank you. Shop owner, you've truly suffered for this. Thank you, Jinhao. Jinhao gestures sharply. First, step back. This creature's nature and power are far from ordinary. Are you using internal qi to restrain it? If not, your hands would be shredded. Don't hand it to anyone else. Handle it personally. It survived days out of water, but you must depart immediately. Hearing this, Gunmin nods firmly. Understood. I shall set out at once. Owner, please keep this for now. I must bid a hurried farewell. Gunmin laughs, eyes gleaming with triumph. I've got it! As he takes it, the creature thrashes like a wild beast. It takes everything to hold on. They call it a spirit artifact, but its temperament is vicious. One slip of internal qi and his hand would be gone, or the creature would perish. Jinhao watches with folded arms. To think he held such a thing so casually. His hidden strength dwarfs even our genius. Wulin, great hero, the carriage is ready. Shall we depart? Yes, let's go. Gunmin turns to Jinhao one last time. Next time, I shall repay this debt properly. I'll be waiting. Finally, Gunmin exhales in relief. It's done. Now, for a moment of well-earned rest. Holding a wooden branch, Jinhao muses. Watching these kids, I just can't sit still. I wonder how this tastes? In his hand, a vibrant red shrimp. Jinhao sits in the pavilion with his loyal subordinates. Lately, our inn's revenue has skyrocketed. What's the secret? Remember those thugs from before? After Yun thrashed them for causing trouble, rumors spread that this place is the safest haven. Exactly. Our guest count has doubled, Ma Long reports. Doan chimes in, we're already running out of rooms. We must expand the scale. Jinhao probes, are we truly that short on space? Ma Long sighs wearily. Space isn't the urgent issue. Managing the staff is the real headache. Seeing the owner's stress, Jinhao casually suggests, then buy more. Purchase a larger inn and open a second branch. Easy, right? They both stare, eyes wide. Is it really that simple? The nanny brings out a feast. Young master. Everything is prepared. Ma Long drools at the sight. What is this? It looks like a shrimp, but it's massive and smells divine. This is the Great Sea King shrimp caught by the young master himself. Taste it and decide if it's worthy of being our signature dish. Jinhao grins. Go on, eat. Give me your honest critique. Ma Long takes a massive bite. It's not just big, the meat is incredibly firm and sweet. Doan is stunned. This is truly the taste of heaven. Do such shrimp even exist? The nanny asks. What do you think, young master? Personally, I think dumplings are risky. If we mince this, customers might think we're cheating them with ordinary shrimp. I hadn't considered that. But fried or stir-fried, the flavor is legendary. It's perfect for a signature dish. The nanny beams. Really, that's a relief. But where on earth did you find such ingredients, young master? Ma Long is curious too. I've scoured the seas and never seen the like. I found them while searching for the 1,000-year shell. They live in depths far below the 100-year mark. Of course, it's your first time seeing them. No one can mimic this dish. But won't you suffer, young master, diving to such depths just for ingredients? I'll only sell it twice a month, so don't worry, nanny. Besides, if you don't want me working so hard, hurry up and master a new secret recipe. Yes, I will definitely find the ultimate secret dish for our inn. Jinhao laughs. Eat up. For now, let's just enjoy this feast. As predicted, the hidden power reveals itself. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆's legendary Great River dish became an overnight sensation, drawing crowds from every corner of the province. Jealous rivals tried to scam customers with pathetic, oversized common shrimp, but none could match the divine flavor. The counterfeiters crumbled as the summer heat faded, giving way to the cool, crisp winds of the changing season. "This place is ancient," 𝒂lin complained, her eyes scanning the crumbling walls of the humble Ascending Heaven dojo. "Mind your manners, girl," her father barked, just as the heavy gates creaked open to reveal their host. Lord Quancheng's eyes narrowed at the tiny shack. "It's even smaller than they said," he muttered with disappointment. "Welcome, great hero of the Tang clan," 𝒏𝒊 greeted them calmly. "You've traveled far to reach this place. Master 𝒏, you look well, but tell me, why is a man of your caliber hiding in this ruin?" 𝒏𝒊 smiled, gesturing toward the interior. "It's a long story. Please, enter and let us share some tea." "My daughter breathes today because of you," Quancheng began, his voice heavy with the weight of a father's debt. "It was merely luck," 𝒏𝒊 replied. "Finding the 1,000-year route takes more than just simple effort or training. Luck or fate, you saved her. My daughter, 𝒂lin, has come to offer her formal gratitude to her savior." "I am 𝒂lin," she bowed deeply. "I shall stay by your side and serve you for life to repay this debt." "Hold on, young lady. Let's not rush." 𝒏𝒊 laughed, but the girl's eyes burned with stubborn determination. The Tang family never forgets a favor. The air grew thick with the unspoken tension of a life debt being settled. 𝒏𝒊 realized he couldn't refuse. 5 years, he proposed. She will stay here for 5 years of service. In exchange, the Sichuan Tang clan will lend their support to my dojo whenever the need arises, he added. Quancheng stroked his beard, considering the deal. 5 years. That is a fair trade for my daughter's life. It's a deal, but if she isn't back after 60 months, I'll have to drag her home myself. 𝒂lin turned pale. "Father, would you really break our clan's sacred rules of gratitude just for that? If she chooses to stay after her time is up, I won't stop her," 𝒏𝒊 promised, calming the girl's heart. "Then it is settled. Having a daughter of the Tang clan here will certainly keep things interesting." 5 years was plenty of time. Surely she would miss the luxury of her home long before then. Now that business is done, Quancheng's aura exploded. "Master 𝒏, let us test your steel in a duel." The crowd gasped. The great underworld king, one of the legendary 8 masters, was challenging a mere shopkeeper. "They say even the Ping family of Hebei is watching you. Show me why you've caught their wandering eyes." "I'll give you a 3-move head start," the king offered. But 𝒏𝒊 just gripped his sword tighter. "I won't be needing that," 𝒏𝒊 whispered, then blurred forward like a streak of silver lightning. Their blades collided with a deafening roar. Quancheng's smile vanished. This boy's strength was absolutely monstrous. "So you were hiding your true self?" The king laughed as 𝒏𝒊's movement shifted into a divine dance. A violent storm of qi erupted between them, forcing the spectators to shield their eyes from the blinding pressure. "Don't blink!" someone yelled. Every exchange was a masterclass in lethal, precision, and overwhelming spiritual power. 𝒏𝒊's blade sought every vital point, his strikes carrying the weight of 1,000 mountains and hidden lightning. Who taught this boy? Quancheng wondered, his heart racing. This isn't just martial arts, it's a force of nature. Sparks flew as steel sang against steel. 𝒏𝒊's hand moved in a blur, aiming for the finishing blow. The king dodged by a hair's breadth, his own techniques morphing and shifting like 1,000 venomous serpents. Truly the underworld king, 𝒏𝒊 thought. Every movement was a lethal masterpiece, even without using his famous poisons. I could win if I pushed to the limit, but bedrest for months isn't worth the victory, 𝒏𝒊 realized. He stepped back, sheathing his sword. "I yield. I have learned much from your legendary wisdom today, great king. You still have strength left. Why stop?" Quancheng asked, realizing the boy was no sheep, but a viper. "This wasn't a fight to the death," 𝒏𝒊 replied, his eyes calm despite the murderous aura still lingering. "You were testing me, seeing if I was worthy of protecting your daughter. Tell me, did I pass? Tell me who your master is," the king demanded. "Such divine techniques cannot possibly come from nowhere. I'm afraid his name is lost to history," 𝒏𝒊 lied smoothly. "But I assure you, my path is righteous." Quancheng nodded slowly. "The mystery of your lineage is deep, but your strength speaks for itself today. Are you all right, benefactor?" 𝒂lin asks, her voice trembling. He smiles, though the title feels heavy. "Just call me sect master," he replies. She blushes, nodding shyly. Meanwhile, the Lord of Sichuan fumes in silence. Is the sect master truly ascending to godhood? His aura is blinding. "Elder brother, get a grip," Min shouts. "Don't lose your mind now." Lord Tang stares blankly at the sky. Had the millennial herb failed to heal him? Under the setting sun at the Tang estate, Tang Min watches his brother's dark expression. What weighs on you? Lord Tang sighs, trapped between certainty and doubt. There is something, yet perhaps there is nothing at all. Min chuckles, seeing through the facade. You're worried about Ha Lin, aren't you? His brother remains silent. That, and something far more unsettling. Lord Tang mutters, gripping his tea. His brow furrows in deep thought. That duel. Something was wrong. The more he replays it, the more his skin crawls. Those eyes. The sect master didn't look defeated. He looked like a god holding back, merely humoring a mere mortal child. Could he be hiding a power that dwarfs the Tang family? The thought makes the Lord's hand tremble violently. He slams his cup down. Min strokes his chin, eyes gleaming with intrigue. But isn't he quite perfect? What are you saying? Lord Tang roars. Min remains calm, weaving a web of political and marital logic. Think about it. A powerful sect leader with no thirst for our throne, he's the ideal candidate for a son-in-law. His martial prowess and status are unmatched. He fits the Tang family perfectly. Min grins, teasing his brother. Enough nonsense. Out! Lord Tang barks, kicking his brother toward the door. Ha Lin is my daughter, Min laughs, dodging a pillow. She's my niece, too. Besides, who can predict the sparks of young love? Lord Tang growls as the scene shifts. Jinharo stands by the carriage, ready to see the guests off. You must visit Sichuan, the Lord commands, his tone stern yet respectful. Howard bows. I shall, one day. Farewell, sect master, Min shouts with a wave. The disciples bow deeply, wishing them a safe journey home. Howard turns, noticing Tang Yelin still standing there. Wait, aren't you leaving with your father? She ignores his gaze, crossing her arms stubbornly. Suddenly, she clings to Ha Lin's arm like a shadow. I'm staying with my sister, she declares. Ha Lin jumps in shock. What? Since when was this decided? I spoke with father last night, Nyalin explains. I can't leave my dear sister here all alone. Ha Lin sighs, turning to Hao with an apologetic smile. I'm so sorry, sect master. I had no idea. Howard chuckles. It's fine. I think I understand the reason. He places a hand behind his back, formalizing things. I realized I never properly introduced myself. I am Thick Jinhar. He offers a polite, dignified bow. Nyalin scoffs, tilting her head arrogantly. Took you long enough. Fine then, try not to be a burden. Har doesn't linger on her attitude. I must go. The disciples await their training. He departs with grace. We'll explore the grounds for a bit, Halin calls out. Nyalin glares at Har's retreating back, annoyed. Ugh, what an insufferable man. He acted like he didn't even know my name until just now. She fumes. Don't be rude, Halin chides gently. The sect master is a man of incredible talent and mystery. Nalin bites her lip. We're twins. Don't lecture me, but even she can't deny his overwhelming hidden strength. He found the millennial herb and survived a duel with father. It's absurd, she whispers, clutching her head. Why am I even defending him? He has all that power and chooses to rot in this tiny countryside village. It proves he has no ambition, she cries. Halin only smiles, looking toward the horizon with warmth. Perhaps being content is better than being consumed by greed, Halin muses. Suddenly, she stops in her tracks. A sleek black cat approaches them, its eyes glowing with intelligence. Oh, it's Haku, she exclaims. So cute. Nalin squeals, her tough exterior melting. The cat rubs against Halin's legs, purring softly. Where is your master, little one? Halin asks, stroking its head. I suppose you know we're family now. Seeing her sister's lack of ambition, Halin offered a soft smile. Perhaps being ordinary is safer than being consumed by grand greed. Suddenly, she froze as a strange presence drew near. From the darkness, a mysterious black cat stepped into the light. Oh my, it is Haku, she exclaimed. The cat let out a mystical cry in response. He is just so adorable. Halin stroked its head as it rubbed against her leg. Where is your master? Why are you wandering here all alone, little one? You are a divine spirit beast, she whispered. Perhaps you already know that we will all be living together from now on. How adorable. She giggles, mesmerized by Blackie's charm. You seem to like me, don't you? Behind her, Tang Nalin can't resist either. She reaches out, beckoning. Blackie, come here. The beast stares blankly at her for a long moment. Her eyes sparkle with hope. But, unexpectedly, Blackie gives her a cold, dismissive glance before turning his head away entirely. Nalin freezes in shock, rejection stung. With a pitiful expression, she sinks to the ground in dramatic despair. So cruel. Why treat me like this? Why won't you come to me? She wails, her heart seemingly shattered by a cat. Tang Halin teases. He probably heard you gossiping about his master. To win Blackie over, you must love the boss first. Tearing up, Nalin grumbles about the unfairness. Fine. After our walk, let's visit the training grounds. I heard there are 3 soft wolves. Still, she pouts, but I wanted Blackie. Meanwhile, the carriage of the Gale escort leader continues its steady journey forward. The leader gazes at the passing scenery, lost in thought. Time flies. I only hope some have managed to achieve something. His companion nods. True, even at great sex, 6 months rarely yields results. I wouldn't set the bar too high. However, he continues, under Zhenhao's direct guidance, perhaps a few might surprise us. He was quite confident, after all. Soon, they arrive. Zhenhao and his disciples emerge to greet them. Long time no see, the young master greets calmly. Behind him, the disciples bow in unison, their voices thundering. Greetings to the great escort leader. A disciplined, powerful display. The Gale escort veterans stand frozen, jaws dropping. The transformation is jarring. Wait, are these the same kids we knew? The companion rubs his eyes. They look like entirely different people. Zhenhao smirks at their bewildered expressions. Surprised? Wasn't it your wish for them to grow stronger? The leader laughs heartily. I feared my expectations were too high, but this. What sorcery did you use, boss? Zhenhao remains composed. I simply rebuilt their foundations and corrected their physical movements. Their internal energy is the same as 6 months ago, but now, any future cultivation will yield 10 times the results. The Gale leader turns to his elite warrior. Can you handle this? 1 against 5 might be overkill. You sure? The scarred warrior scoffs with arrogance. I am a first-class escort. Taking down 5 amateurs is easier than eating kanji. The leader chuckles. Confidence is good, but to truly test their progress, let us stick to one-on-one duels for now. No need to waste time. Zhenhao interjects. Let the evaluation begin. Both sides take their positions, the tension rising. Zhenhao glances at the newcomers. Are these porters you've brought this time? The man in black nods. Yes, the next trainees. Seeing the results with their own eyes will be the ultimate motivation. Zhenhao smiles cryptically. The stimulation might be excessive. Suddenly, a commotion draws the leader's attention. He turns to see the Tang sisters, the nanny, and little Tu Yet approaching. The nanny blushes shyly. We were curious about the duel. Hope we aren't intruding? Zhenhao welcomes them without hesitation. Tang Halin smiles brightly. We'll just watch quietly from the sidelines. The Gale leader's companion whispers in disbelief. Quietly? Look at those robes. Aren't those the daughters of the prestigious Sichuan Tang family? What are they doing here? The leader looks on. It seems so. Zhenhao waves it off. Explanations later. For now, let the show begin. The fighter asks, is this about your promise? Zhenhao nods. The 2 combatants step onto the stage. The duel starts. The purple-clad elite looks down his nose at his opponent in green. Pure arrogance. But the boy in green doesn't flinch. As the signal rings, the disciple grips his sword. He recalls Zhenhao's wisdom. A true martial artist faces giants calmly. Calculate quickly. Identify your strengths and exploit their weaknesses. Dictate the flow of the battle to suit your style. Facing the aggressive aura of the veteran, the boy breathes. Think, just as the boss taught me, there is a way to win. He analyzes the situation instantly. A head-on clash against a master escort spear is suicide. Their power gap is too wide. The elite in purple taunts, there's a long line behind you. I'll finish this quickly. He lunges forward like a gale. The boy watches the spear's trajectory. A plan forms. I must close the distance. Neutralize the spear's reach by getting inside. With a sharp pivot, he evades the initial thrust. Using every ounce of his new foundation, he swings his blade upward. Back on the battlefield, the warrior focused on his enemy's flow. He needed to seize control and lead this dance of death. He recalled the master's secret teachings from his past lives. Stay calm. There is always a hidden path to victory against a stronger foe. A direct clash against a master spearman was pure suicide. He was completely outmatched in weight, reach, and raw internal power. The purple-clad assassin sneered with arrogance. I have no time for weaklings. Die quickly. He lunged forward like a bolt of lightning. The warrior in blue saw the opening. I have one chance. I must close the distance and negate his spear's reach. He lunged inside the spear's dead zone, turning the enemy's greatest strength into a fatal weakness. The tides were finally turning. With a sharp move, he evaded the initial strike and swung his blade upward with the force of a crashing mountain. The veteran escort was no amateur, swiftly weaving past the blade and countering with a heavy spear strike. After his failed opening, the swordsman locked eyes with his foe, realizing this battle wouldn't end easily. Standard forms weren't enough. To face the monsters lurking ahead, he needed to ignite his inner strength. Victory had to be swift. He clicked his tongue, knowing a single mistake would mean a crushing defeat. Merely seeing the escort spear once paralyzed him. But now the master's cryptic teachings finally made sense. Escort shield. Here I come, he roared, lunging forward with a desperate, newfound intensity. Bring it on, the escort shouted, exhilarated as spear and sword clashed in a violent symphony of steel. A thunderous explosion erupted. Blinding light and thick smoke veiled the arena where their spirits collided. Cracks spiderwebbed across the blue-clad warrior's blade. Panic surged. Was he about to lose so soon? Refusing to back down, he unleashed a frantic barrage of strikes, his pride burning hotter than his exhaustion. Speed is my only hope, he thought, pouring every ounce of resolve into one final, lightning-fast assault. Surprised by this sudden ferocity, the escort gritted his teeth. Enough games. It ends here and now. With a blurred motion, he pivoted his spear, thrusting the blunt end with the force of a mountain. Shock froze the warrior's heart as the spear butt slammed into his chest, launching him through the air. Gasping for air, he struggled to stand, forced to admit the sheer gap in their legendary power. His blitz had failed. Though his blade was fractured, he prepared to fight until the very last breath. That's enough. Stand down, a booming voice commanded, cutting through the thick tension of the arena. The bureau chief stepped forward, a satisfied smirk playing on his lips despite the warrior's protests. I've seen plenty. You held your own against a first-class escort. Your growth is truly monstrous. Even on the brink of defeat, you didn't flinch. That final strike, it was dangerously sharp. You've certainly upheld the master's honor today, the chief added, prompting a humble smile from the youth. The escort slapped his shoulder. Don't be sour. Let's finish this next time I've got more challengers to crush. With a respectful bow, the young warrior thanked him for the lesson before the next duel was called. The scene shifted to the bustling tavern, where guests were busy devouring the finest local delicacies. The bureau chief inhaled deeply. This aroma, is this the legendary sand ginseng wine? His companion nodded. Such a rich scent. This isn't just ordinary ginseng, it's practically a divine elixir. Is this even for sale? The chief asked. Money usually can't buy something of this heavenly quality. Just some wild herbs I found in the mountains? The protagonist replied calmly, pouring the rare brew. Only you, 𝒏𝒃, the black-clad man chuckled, before the chief turned the conversation back to business. About our earlier discussion, you haven't forgotten the favor you owe the Tang family, have you? The protagonist took a slow sip. The king of hell's daughter was dying, poisoned without an antidote. She needed a 1,000-year shell. Through Sister Meilong, I provided the cure and saved her life. Now, the great Tang knight has come to repay that debt, bringing his siblings along as guests. The chief marveled at the tale. To possess a 1,000-year shell, you're even more mysterious than rumored. The hero sighed. I knew helping the Tang family would be complicated, but their daughters are a handful. The chief crossed his arms. The king of hell doesn't just let anyone near his precious girls, you know. If he didn't approve of you, he would have repaid the debt with gold, not by sending his family. He definitely doesn't approve, the hero countered. The man nearly beat the life out of me. In our world, a duel is a Tang father's way of vetting a son-in-law. Winning isn't the point. Speaking of marriage, the 3 siblings of the Ping family have all entered secluded cultivation. The protagonist blinked in surprise. How do you already know about their private clan business? If I didn't have ears in every corner of 𝒏𝒃, I wouldn't be the bureau chief for long. Let's move on from my love life, the hero redirected. You didn't come here to play matchmaker. The chief's expression turned serious. Right. Seeing those kids fight today gave me a bold idea. If we extended their training from 6 months to a full year, imagine the monsters we'd create. How far can he grow? A 1-year course is efficient, but cost-wise, it's not ideal. I can stabilize their foundations, but ultimately, their own burning will is what truly matters. Martial power? If they have spirit, a guide helps, but this is group training, not individual. Everyone's will differs. Cultivating internal energy requires relentless patience, or they will surely give up. We can transform a first-class warrior into a peak master through pure grit and technique. Legend says warriors face 2 massive walls that block their path to the high heavens. The wall of lamentation breaks those seeking the peak realm, forcing them to their knees. The wall of despair stops the elites aiming for transcendence, leaving them in total darkness. Break the wall of lamentation? He calmly revealed the secret to overcoming that legendary barrier. The method is simple. Strike it until it shatters. Don't overthink the obstacle before you. Most miss the chance because they overcomplicate the challenge. Simplicity is the key to power. 2 years? 3? No, the shorter the better. Let's call it a brutal short-term crash course. Meanwhile, Chen Guiyue's voice echoed. A sinister deal was being struck in the sex shadows. Fan Yuanjiang knelt, begging him to deal with a nobody who suppressed the Black Fortress. The elder scoffed. Why should he care about some thunder tiger? It's beneath his status. But a heavy bag of gold changed everything. Greed was quickly masked as a righteous duty. He claimed it was a donation for the martial world to hide his own pathetic avarice. He laughed greedily, deciding he had business near the river anyway. How conveniently timed. At the inn, peace reigned. Naling cuddled her dogs, finding pure healing for her soul. Hailing smiled at her sister's love for animals. A rare moment of tranquility amidst the chaos. The dogs adored Naling, rolling around and begging for her gentle touch and playful attention. Naling sighed wistfully, wishing even the aloof Black Ember would let her hold him once. Suddenly, a voice called out. The innkeeper and the mysterious black cat had finally arrived. Seeing the cat, Naling rushed over with a blooming smile, hoping to finally win him over. But Black Ember hissed. He scratched her multiple times, leaving the poor girl in tears. Hailing stifled a laugh while comforting her sister. Some hearts are just too wild to tame. The innkeeper chuckled, noting that the cat prefers his distance. Then she asked about their stay. Is it boring here? Not at all, Hailing replied, enjoying the peaceful life away from conflict. Between intense sparring and cooking with the host, every day felt like a new, exciting lesson. Cooking feels strangely like mixing poisons, an unexpected hobby that turned out to be quite fun. The host beamed with joy. Combining medicinal herbs with gourmet food was a brilliant, fresh idea. The sisters shared a modest smile, happy to be of some use to their kind host. Suddenly, the dogs began to bark aggressively. An unwelcome, hostile presence was approaching the inn. Hailing's face turned grim. It seemed uninvited guests were looking for trouble once again today. A group stormed in. I am 𝑳𝒊𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 of Kongtong. Tell your master to face me. His voice boomed like a massive speaker at full volume, vibrating through everyone's very bones. The disciples winced, clutching their ears as the arrogant shout threatened to burst their eardrums. Doan and 𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 stepped out, their eyes blazing with fury at such a rude intrusion. They demanded to know who dared to be so reckless and disrespectful in this sacred place. 𝒊𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 sneered maliciously. If they couldn't even handle his voice, they were truly pathetic. Fan Yuanzhang stood behind him, looking down on everyone with a gaze full of pure contempt. The elder claimed he was there to teach manners to those who had forgotten their place. Fan grinned like a predator. Even a genius is just an ant before a peak master. Today would be the end. He watched, waiting for the legendary hero to finally fall. Our hero stepped forward, eyes cold. So, you're the one who came here to die? Hao arrived, his eyes burning with fury. Has your father no shame? 𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃? Chen was insulted. How dare this brat ignore my seniority and speak so rudely? Vic Chanhao laughed mockingly. Respect? For a thug who invades a peaceful home? Is this the etiquette of your sect? 𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃 couldn't take any more insults. I'll teach you manners, he roared, swinging his blade at the main character's neck. Pham Nguyen Giang smiled. Finally, this thorn in his side was about to be removed. Suddenly, the impossible happened. Hao's body flickered like a ghost, vanishing into thin air. Before Chen could react, Hao had moved, his speed defying the laws of physics. Why the long faces? Hao teased. Were you hoping to see my head roll? Pham screamed in a blind rage, stomping the ground. Where did that bastard go? Chen realized it was high-level movement, but he arrogantly thought he could still win. Suddenly, a cold whisper came from behind. Hao was standing right at his back. Chen's heart stopped. Cold sweat poured down his face as primal fear took hold. Was his presence hidden, or was he just that fast? Chen was losing his mind. He tried to stay calm, but his hands shook as he gripped his sword. He lunged again, desperate to kill this monster before he lost his own life. Die, you slippery eel, Chen screamed, unleashing every ounce of his remaining strength. Hao dodged every strike with ease, his movements like a master artist's brushstrokes. Chen waited for Hao to tire, but he was the one slowly losing breath. Hao saw the opening. The master's attacks had become desperate, sloppy, and weak. Cowardly, Chen changed his aim, targeting the innocent disciples to force a trap. Let's see you dodge this, he sneered. A truly pathetic move for a martial artist. He swung with murderous intent. Hao didn't run, he stepped forward to face it. The crowd gasped in horror as the lethal blade descended upon the helpless group. With a single, effortless motion, Hao neutralized the attack, shocking everyone in the room. How? How did he stop that? Chen's jaw dropped. A mere gym owner was invincible. Hao flicked his finger. One punch to the chest, and Chen was sent flying. The Grandmaster coughed blood, his internal energy shattered by a single, casual strike. That pain is the price of your murderous intent, Hao said, his voice cold. Chen's world spun. How could a supposed cripple possess such terrifying ancient power? Wait, please, Chen begged, his arrogance replaced by the stench of pure terror. Talk? Hao's voice was like ice. You who bullied children with your martial aura? You who used lethal sword intent on innocence? There is no talking left now. Chen stammered. I'm a Kongtong disciple. You can't just kill me in this village. If you touch me, my entire sect will hunt you to the ends of earth. Hao smirked. Ah, yes, the great sect's power. You think that makes you gods? The power to destroy a small gym? Is that all you have to say? Chen kneeled, still trying to hide behind his sect's fading prestige and reputation. A village gym owner like you can't survive the wrath of the great sects. Then we shall be the witnesses. A sharp, feminine voice echoed through the hall. The legendary Sichuan Tang family had arrived. Everyone froze as the poison masters appeared. Fam's face turned white. The Tang clan? Here? Supporting this nobody gym owner? It was the Tang princess, the one rumored to be missing or even dead. Her presence shattered Chen's remaining pride. The Kongtong sect was nothing before her. How pathetic, she spat. A great sect disciple acting like a common, cowardly thug. Na Lin warned him to stay calm, fearing the enemies might silence them with cold steel. But they were no match for him. Tran Hao called for Doen and Ma Long immediately. He ordered them to bring the disciples inside and treat their wounds at once. Fury burned in Tran Hao's eyes. To use such underhanded tricks against mere beginners was unforgivable. Was this the behavior of a so-called righteous sect? Queenak trembled under his cold gaze. The coward begged for a quiet resolution. But Tran Hao was not in the mood for talk. With a roar, his angry dragon kick shattered Quinak's jaw, slamming him into the dirt. He grabbed the man's beard, his voice like ice. You think you can just walk away? You harmed my disciples and now you beg? Queenak's face paled in absolute terror. If our roles were reversed, would you have spared me? Tran Hao's killing intent was suffocating. The time for mercy was over. One final strike ended the coward's life then and there. Nguyen Jiang froze. This man was a monster. How could a supposed cripple be this ruthless? First the Black Crow camp, now this. You fools never learn, do you? Abandoning his pride, Nguyen Jiang turned to run, hoping his men could stall for time. He barely took 3 steps before a powerful hand clamped onto his collar like a vice. Where do you think you're going? Tran Hao asked. The villain screamed for his men to help. A brutal slap silenced him. Suddenly, a strange green mist began to swirl around them. Their internal energy vanished. Poison! Nialin stepped forward with a deadly smirk on her face. Never lower your guard before the Tang family. One by one, the enemies collapsed like puppets. Tran Hao thanked her, but the arrogant Wen Jiang was now groveling on his knees. Spare me and I will repay you. But Tran Hao's heart had already turned to stone. You talk too much. With a single finger, he sealed the man's voice forever. He needed a witness who could speak. Seeing this, the remaining subordinates began to tremble. We will talk. We will tell you everything. Please, great hero, have mercy on us. Is the 100 Demons Bureau involved too? They confessed that their young master planned everything. Bribing the Kongtong sect required a fortune that only the young master could authorize. Where is the evidence? They pointed to Nguyen Jiang's chest. The hidden proof was there. Letters detailing the secret deal were kept as insurance. This was the key to their downfall. Valuable info, Tran Hao noted. Then, with another finger strike, he silenced the witnesses forever. They fell instantly. Na Lin stared in awe. Such terrifying power from such a simple move. If it were me, they would have suffered. I am simply rewarding their honesty, Tran Hao replied. This man is full of surprises. He is decisive and lethal beyond my wildest expectations. What about the leader? Tran Hao spared him only because he was still useful. Nya Lin pledged the Tang family's aid. She was moved by Tran Hao's righteous strength. He thanked her, knowing that crossing the 9 sects would not be an easy path. We cannot tolerate this evil. As part of the 5 great families, we must act. To the Tang family, this dojo is more than just an ally. We are one. The power balance of the Central Plains was shifting. 16 sects were now on high alert. The scandal involving the Kongtong sect sent shockwaves through the entire martial arts world. Everyone was stunned by the dark web of conspiracies dating back to the Black Crow camp. Kongtong tried to save face, claiming Queenak acted alone. But the truth was out. The 100 Demons Bureau faced total ruin. Their weak excuses were laughed out of existence. The investigation did not stop until the entire corrupt organization was burned to the ground. Back at the dojo, Tran Hao sat calmly. No one believes their lies anymore, he mused. Their status as a great sect won't save them this time. The dragon has finally awakened. Better to end it here, but my father's warning echoed with weight. Stay vigilant, son. That man's master? A high elder of the Kongtong sect. I wondered if the righteous were truly so holy. No one could predict their next strike. I simply smiled. Don't worry, father. I've already planned for their schemes. The mask of the righteous doesn't fool me. Not everyone in the light is good. My father sighed, eyes reflecting relief. You've grown wise beyond your years. Perhaps I worried too much. I have people to protect now. I must tread carefully. Father looked around my humble hall. This place is quite modest. The crowd should be flocking to you. Why not expand your domain? I took a slow sip of tea. The rude aren't welcome here anyway. Size doesn't matter, father. He laughed, seeing my quiet authority. You truly know how to rule your own world. You've mastered the lead. He looked at my disciples training hard. They were former porters of the Thick Fong agency. But their eyes? They blazed with fierce determination. Their willpower is staggering. They follow your every word with absolute faith. I'm impressed, truly impressed by your influence. So, I want to entrust my own elite to you. I bowed my head politely at his offer. I appreciate the praise, father. But there are many legendary masters out there. You should seek them instead. He wouldn't hear of it. They aren't you. You share my bloodline. That's the difference. This Tianvo Hall, it could become our second legend. I set my cup down. I have no intention of returning home. If you're here to convince me otherwise, then our conversation is finished. He quickly raised his hands in retreat. Fine. I understand. Let's talk business then. I want you to train my men. I'll pay double your asking price. You know, I hate wasting resources. Father, it's not a waste if it's for you, he countered. I reminded him of my current deal. I have an exclusive contract with the agency. He looked puzzled. Aren't we all one family anyway? I fell silent, the tension thick. I'll consider it and let you know. Fair enough. I hope for a positive answer. Before he left, I prepared a parting gift. Yoon, Ma Long, bring the chest. They carried out a small, ornate box. Inside lay a relic from the deep abyss, a treasure I pulled from the ocean's graveyard. Consider this repayment for your help. I prefer my debts clearly settled. I'll send a similar gift to the agency as well. My words stung his heart. To hear such formality from my own son. It hurts. But given my past sins, I have no right to complain. He stared at the treasure. At least we are closer than we were before. Is this gift too much for a small favor? I looked toward the future. The past is set in stone, but the future? That is mine to forge. Time passed, and we moved on. The scene shifts to a massive ship. We were surrounded by the endless blue of the ocean. Suddenly, a wolf cub lunged for the water. Ma Long caught the pup just in time. Are you crazy? You'll drown out here. I walked onto the deck, laughing. They're small, but their spirits are wild. Wolves aren't easily tamed, Ma Long. He wailed in comic despair. I thought they'd be my majestic spirit beasts. I don't think I have the energy for this. Suddenly, a shadow fell from above. Hak-Hu let out a single, piercing cry. Instantly, the three wolves froze. They lined up like disciplined soldiers. Ma Long's eyes sparkled with joy. Thank the heavens for Hak-Hu. Right then, Yoon arrived with fishing rods. Let's see who can catch the sea's monster. The nanny smiled, watching the horizon. I never dreamed I'd be on such a ship. This luxury, it's all thanks to the young master. I smiled. Money is meant for moments like this. Let me show you how to bait the hooks. Yes, master. A young boy puffed out his chest. I'll catch a fish bigger than yours, sister. Bigger than the master's? Good luck. The peaceful atmosphere was a rare gift. Holin watched everyone with a soft smile. Everyone seemed so happy for once. We've been through enough chaos lately. A little idleness is good for the soul. But Nya Lin wasn't satisfied. I was glad no one recognized us at first, but now, the rumors are spreading like wildfire. Everyone knows who we are now. Holin laughed softly. We're far from the heart of the world here. No one in this small county knows our faces. She turned to me, her eyes curious. May I ask you something? Why stay hidden in a place like this? With your power, you could rule the heavens. You could make the world tremble at your name. I looked out at the waves. Is fame the only measure of a life? My indifference left her stunned. But isn't that the dream of every warrior? To be the greatest under the sun? A true man should possess that kind of ambition. Holin stepped in, sensing the tension. Please forgive my sister's sharp tongue. She's always been this way. I shook my head. It's fine. I've seen enough of the world's pinnacle. I've lived 1,000 lives in the shadows. Fame is just a gilded cage. The true power is choosing how to live. The ocean breeze carried my secrets away. They saw a cripple. I felt the universe. Let the world chase its fleeting shadows. I have already conquered the stars in my soul. The real reveal was just beginning. They stared at me, sensing a depth they couldn't fathom. A hidden dragon among the waves. This was only the start of my true path. I define the path of my own existence. I answer only to myself. though I understand your curiosity. Do not mistake intrigue for a right to lecture me. His icy confidence left Na Lin in breathless awe. Harlin finally intervened, demanding her sister apologize for her blatant and incredibly disrespectful behavior toward the master. Suddenly, the line jerked violently. A massive shadow beneath the waves sent a surge of excitement through everyone. The nanny hauled up a gargantuan swordfish, a legendary catch from the deep that left them all speechless. That night, Tren Har calculated his next moves. His business was booming, and production had to double immediately. The Martial Academy was attracting elite eyes. It was time to implement specialized, high-intensity training programs for them. Aside from the Kongtong sect nuisance, everything was perfect. Until he sensed a strange, flickering aura nearby. He blurred toward the balcony in a flash. Who would dare to practice at this ungodly hour of night? Even in the dead of night, his disciples were pushing their limits. Such desperate effort deserved a reward. Ma Long watched them with fatherly pride. Their dedication was absolute until the sovereign finally revealed his presence. Stop this at once. You are still growing, and lack of sleep will stunt your true physical potential. We know the risks, Master, but we are miles behind the geniuses. We cannot afford to rest now. Their unwavering determination struck a chord. Ma Long saw the same desperate fire he once carried in himself. You were indeed a slow bloomer, Ma Long. A cold, authoritative voice echoed from the dark shadows above. Tren Har descended like a phantom. The disciples froze in shock. Still training? Give me one good reason. Terror gripped the ranks. They braced for a brutal scolding for disturbing the great sect leader's peace. I am not here to punish you. I merely wanted to see which fools were working this hard. One glance revealed the harsh truth. Their innate talent was abysmal, truly the bottom of the barrel. Low talent, yet unmatched willpower. He contemplated teaching them a fragment of his world-shattering ancient secret arts. They weren't ready for the divine techniques, but a small spark of guidance could change their fate forever. He brandished a multi-section staff. All three of you, attack me at once. Do not hold anything back. I won't even shift my feet. The disciples hesitated, wondering if they should actually strike their supreme master. They whispered a quick pincer strategy. If they synchronized their strikes, maybe they could land one single hit. The moment their focus wavered, he struck. A gust of wind followed his staff's lethal, lightning-fast trajectory. One boy barely dodged. He lunged for a desperate sneak attack, hoping he found a hidden opening. Too slow. With a flick of his wrist, the staff reversed, slamming directly into the boy's solar plexus. The weapon defied gravity, changing direction mid-air. The remaining two watched in pure, soul-chilling terror. In the blink of an eye, all three were sent tumbling. Defeated by the most basic of movements, they lay sprawled on the ground, gasping for air. Their carefully planned strategy had been utterly crushed. It is impossible. Even if we tried 1,000,000 times, we could never breach his absolute defense. Did that hurt? He asked. No, they stammered. It wasn't even hard, or particularly fast either. Exactly. If it wasn't fast and didn't pack power, why are you all eating the dirt right now? Silence reigned. If I used a real blade, your lives would have ended before you could even scream. I thought I blocked it, but the staff just shifted. My predictions were useless against that divine movement. Tren Har let out a rare laugh. That is the secret. Prediction is the heart of every battle. You worry about being behind, but everyone's path is different. Do not compare your beginning to others. Bad talent isn't a wall. It is just a steeper hill. You aren't stopped. You are just slower. Ma Long is your living proof. Now, do you wish to bridge the gap and become true monsters? One disciple spoke up tentatively. Do we need to target the enemy's vital weak points? Correct, but you must use your brain as a weapon. Total tactical dominance is the only way. Hide your intent, read their bloodlust, and strike the gap. Master your mind to slay the giants. Enlightenment flooded their senses. To know the enemy is to hold the power of life and death. Using your intellect isn't a weakness, but don't you dare use this as an excuse for laziness. The higher the peak, the more your spirit must bleed. Your true hellish training begins right now. His gaze sharpened as he left the defeated. Rest now, warriors. Tomorrow's hellish training awaits us all. The disciples bowed in deep gratitude. Their progress pleased him. He recalled a certain brat he needed to handle. At dawn, he rode alone into the mist. Finding his target wouldn't take long for someone with his senses. There, a massive sea serpent rippled the surface. Finally, a prey worthy of the hidden power he possessed. Without hesitation, he plunged into the freezing depths. This was no ordinary fish. Its aura felt ancient and wild. Its speed was divine, but its combat instincts were flawed. Amateurs never learn how to dodge a lethal strike. Chen Hao unleashed his mana, forming a giant spectral hand. The impact shook the water as he caught the beast. It tried to flee, trembling with newfound fear. But a master of countless lives never lets a target escape. He gripped its skull, testing its mortal durability. Let us see how much pain your monstrous form can endure. One devastating punch shattered its scales. Even so, the beast lashed out with its tail before vanishing below. It retreated into a dark, jagged trench, but Chen Hao merely smirked. No prey escapes once I have seen it. He accelerated, a streak of light in the darkness. Even the deep ocean could not hide it from him. He hurled his blade with impossible force. The steel pierced deep, and a guttural scream echoed through the water. A final, bone-crushing kick finished the battle. The sea monster lay defeated before the man they called a cripple. He retrieved his sword but chose mercy over slaughter. He used ancient techniques to stitch the beast's wounds. Suddenly, a strange resonance vibrated from a nearby wall. This cave. It felt like a complex illusionary trap, a hidden sanctuary masked by high-level arrays. This was no natural formation. It was a legendary master's retreat. Taking a gamble, he stepped into the unknown. What secrets would an ancient master hide beneath the waves? He tossed the beast ashore, revealing a man-made cavern. This was the dwelling of a legendary martial hermit. A sealed gate stood before him. One touch from his palm, and the ancient mechanisms groaned and opened. Chen Hao froze. The room was overflowing with treasures and artifacts that could shake the entire Miram world. A skeletal figure sat in eternal meditation. Could this be the legendary god of war, Shen Yu himself? He sought to be the strongest, but died alone. Yet, his body remained uncorrupted, radiating a divine light. He stepped closer and picked up a dusty manual. The secrets of the gods lay within his grasp. Stolen techniques from every major sect? No wonder the world hunted him down with such frantic desperation. Shaolin's internal arts, Wudang's swordsmanship, and Kunlun's palm techniques. All were gathered here in one place. He was the enemy of the world, a lonely thief. Chen Hao's eyes wandered to the jars on the shelves. The scent was intoxicating. These elixirs were far superior to the top-tier pills of the 9 great sects. Everything needed to reach the pinnacle of power was here. This man had stolen the destiny of heaven. He looked at the corpse. A life of crime, yet his spirit never wavered. Truly, a man worth respecting. As a fellow martial artist from 500 years ago, Chen Hao offered a formal bow. Rest now, legend. Returning to the gym, his presence felt different. He called for the disciples to witness his latest haul. They rushed out, expecting training, but stopped dead. Their jaws dropped as they saw the mountainous prey. Master, what in the heavens is this monster? They couldn't believe their eyes at the colossal sight. A little something I found while fishing, he joked. This creature's essence will strengthen our entire sect overnight. The disciples were awestruck. With this, their dream of becoming legends was no longer just a fantasy. The sisters and the nurse arrived, gasping in shock. Is that a giant eel? The size was terrifying. Feast tonight, he commanded. The nurse would season it, while the disciples handled the heavy butchering. Hailing's eyes sparkled. She asked to study the monster's rare parts. This was a treasure trove of materials. Take what you need, he replied. Use the teeth for daggers. Their durability will surpass any common steel. They pried the jaws open, finding no venom but rows of lethal ivory. These were weapons of nature. Waste nothing, Chen Hao reminded them. Every scale and bone contains the power of the deep sea. The disciples worked with frantic energy. They finally realized their master was far from the cripple he appeared. Collect the blood for the guardian beast. The meat will be shared among all. Prepare yourselves for growth. We shall begin the ritual immediately. The air was thick with the scent of destiny and power. Ma Long obeyed, salivating fools. Hakkai's roar. Retreat. Sky milk. Legendary treasure. Breaking limits. Eel feast. Essence surge. Disciples rising. Sisters obsession. Eel research. Blood sacrifice. Night falls. Silent sky. Divine walk. Cat agrees. Quiet now. Door opens. Silent entry. Sneaking in. Forgive me. For her. Jade opened. Fragrance. I'll bear danger. Her strength. My burden. Pouring essence. Power awakens. Traces cleared. Silent prayer. Leaving. Surprise awaits tomorrow. Cat jumps. Resisting scent? Haughty hiss. Cat wants. You too? Finished tuber. Cute act. One drop. Guarding cats. My life. Morning laughter. Festive prep. Feed everyone. Nanny's heart. Better extra. Sisters. Rest. Ha Lin's interest. Birthday. Nya Lin's coldness. Hidden. Work for food. Teasing. Only for auntie. Lies. Sisters giggle. Master arrives. Busy morning. Young master. Greetings leader. Grand feast. Why so much? Guests. I invited no one. More is better. Trust. Fine then. Family chatter. Remember the eel? Emergency. Leader. Emergency. Why shout? Guests flooding in. Legends. Peng gifts. Everyone shocked. Miss My Long arrives. I'll greet them. Leaving. Ha Lin's doubt. Rivals? Nanny notices. Worried, dear? Just curiosity. He's yours. Ignoring the trivial schemes of the nanny, our protagonist remained focused while Nya Lin watched from the shadows. Incredible, she whispered. Why would a renowned genius lady visit this supposedly disgraced young master's villa? Every word fueled her curiosity as the atmosphere in the courtyard reached a fever pitch of anticipation. Piles of rare treasures were presented as My Long praised him for seizing control of Huanghua district. Chen Hao remained indifferent. It is just a simple martial hall and 2 inns, nothing worth celebrating. My Long marveled at his growth while craving the legendary cuisine. Chen Hao's gaze remained as cold as ice. Limited items only. Come back later, he stated bluntly, leaving his sister stunned by his icy demeanor. As the final gift was unveiled, the air grew heavy. Even our stoic hero was impressed by the quality. These are no ordinary items, she explained. Hidden within this simple exterior is power worth a kingdom's ransom. It was a facade for the martial hall. To the world, a school. To him, a secret base of operations. For the first time, a flicker of gratitude crossed his face, shocking everyone who saw the crippled master. My Long smiled, though she felt a chill. Her brother was becoming someone or something truly terrifying. The contract with the Feng Bureau is expiring, isn't it? She asked, her eyes sharp with hidden intent. She laughed heartily. I am My Long. My information network spans the entire continent. Nothing escapes my eyes. The inheritance war between the brothers meant nothing to him. He was playing a much larger game now. The exclusive monopoly was ending. It was time to see if they were worthy of serving his new empire. Chen Hao saw through her. She didn't just want information. She wanted the absolute martial force he commanded. She admitted it freely. I need your elite training for my guards. I want them to become unstoppable. He didn't promise anything yet. The fate of the Feng Bureau depended on their loyalty and his ultimate decision. Don't forget my birthday gift, she teased. But Chen Hao's mind was already 10 steps ahead of everyone. Suddenly, the hall master arrived. Master, you must come outside immediately. A powerful presence has arrived. Is there trouble? Chen Hao asked. Ma Long shook his head. No, it is a guest of legendary status. My Long warned him about his brothers, but the man waiting at the gates was far more significant. It was the Supreme Villa Master himself. The world's pillar had come to visit the failure of the family. The old lion surveyed the bustling crowd. Huanghua district has transformed under your rule. Not bad at all. Yet, the Supreme Master's gaze was piercing. This hall is far too small for a man of your caliber. He noted the lack of grand hospitality, but a faint smile played on his lips as he watched the guests. Everything great begins with a single step, he mused. Even a small hall can harbor a divine dragon. He sighed deeply. Perhaps he was the only one who truly recognized the ancient power hidden in his grandson. Chen Hao approached with My Long. Grandfather, it has been a long time. Welcome to my humble abode. Happy birthday, Chen Hao. The words carried a weight that made the surrounding guards tremble in awe. My Long tried to act playful. Grandfather, you should have told me you were coming. We could have traveled together. She hid behind Chen Hao, her usual confidence replaced by the respect one shows to a living legend. The Supreme Master turned his focus back to the protagonist. Chen Hao, walk with me. We have much to discuss. With a composed gesture, Chen Hao led the way. He finally looked like the true master he was born to be. Inside, as the tea was poured, the elder spoke. You didn't even send word of your birthday. How cold. I have been occupied with the hall, he explained simply. His eyes were calm, showing no fear of authority. I hear reports from the main house, the elder continued. Spies are watching your every move, my boy. Chen Hao sipped his tea slowly. Let them watch. The opinions of the weak are of no concern to me. The Supreme Master laughed. The main house is a nest of vipers. Your father hasn't given up on you yet. I won't stop him, Chen Hao replied. But his path and mine are no longer the same. He knows this. He thought to himself, the Villa Master must be losing sleep. While they plot, I am claiming the heavens. The burdens of the family were vast, but to an immortal soul, they were nothing but dust in the wind. Then, the elder reached into his robes and produced a weathered scroll. This is my true gift to you. Chen Hao froze as he unfurled the paper. It wasn't a deed or money. It was a map to ancient power. The Lord handed over the deeds, claiming he bought a little land nearby. But Jinho's eyes widened at the documents. A little? This was 5 times the size of the current hall. Jinho immediately tried to decline the massive gift. I don't need such vast territory, he argued. but the Great Lord insisted he'd eventually need space for a grand empire. Land is security, the elder claimed. Jinho finally relented, tucking the deeds away while promising to use them wisely. To repay the favor, Jinho offered a taste of his legendary super grand shrimp, a dish requiring perfect, divine timing. If you have the time, please taste it before leaving, Jinho invited. The old master smiled, intrigued by the offer. He agreed to try the famous dish, then dropped a bombshell. The Kongdong sex interference had been completely neutralized. Don't worry about them anymore, the Lord said. But Jinho's gaze remained sharp, fueled by his hidden, ancient resolve. Even if their elders come, I can handle them, Jinho stated calmly. The Lord beamed, seeing his own legendary bloodline. After praising the fine tea, the Lord decided to stay the night. Jinho moved to prepare the guests' quarters. At the door, the Lord turned with a playful glint, asking the one question every grandson dreads: his love life. Was it the fierce bake lady or the mysterious girl from the Dang clan? The atmosphere grew thick with anticipation. Jinho stammered a denial, making the Lord roar with laughter. You truly inherited the family's stubborn romantic streak? As the Lord chuckled, Jinho could only scratch his head. The birthday feast soon began, drawing crowds until late night. From the Wind Escort Agency to distant kin, everyone gathered. The hall buzzed with the presence of legendary martial artists. Even the Taoist siblings from the Blue Pine Agency arrived, claiming they were just passing through the local area. They were gathering intel on their way to Liaoning, but they couldn't miss the chance to greet the rising star. The boisterous celebration finally ended, and the soaring heaven hall returned to its peaceful, yet rigorous, daily life. It's freezing. When will we be strong enough to ignore the cold? Zheng Malong complained, shivering in the wind. His comrades laughed, staring at the sky. They spoke of the Wall of Lamentation, the ultimate barrier for any warrior. It's a wall built of failures and tears. They say only those chosen by the strong aura can ever cross. Only the elite can wield that power, Doan added. It takes more than just hard work to reach that level. He mimicked a legendary strike, his eyes burning. When will we finally evolve from sword chi to the strong aura? Doan burst out laughing at the display. Stop, you're scaring the juniors. Just then, some mysterious guests appeared. These men looked like seasoned veterans who had spent decades failing to scale the wall. Their faces were grim. I'll go get the hallmaster, a disciple said. Doan stayed behind, greeting the visitors with a polite bow. They were sent by Lady Suk Milong to find a breakthrough. Doan led the aged experts into the main scene. I heard the great leaders of the Wind Escort Agency were coming, one guest whispered, looking around in awe. Not just escorts, but the headmasters themselves, Doan corrected. The visitors gasped, realizing this place was no ordinary school. Looking at the training beasts, they trembled. If we fail here, we'll die without ever reaching the super first class. This was their last hope. Could a young man really help them overcome a wall they'd faced for years? Jinho finally appeared, greeting them with humble grace. I am Seik Jinho. Welcome to the Soaring Heaven Hall. The elders introduced themselves. Luo Lujing, Zhang Yuanbi, and Huang Jiudi. Legends in their own right, now seeking guidance. Jinho kept his polite smile, but his inner eye saw through their plateaus. His hidden power was far superior. He knew he could outmatch them easily. Fortunately, these veterans didn't seem interested in using age to exert pressure. Rest for today, Jinho suggested. Training begins tomorrow. Or, we can start the awakening right this second? The elders exchanged glances. They hadn't traveled this far to waste time. They wanted to shatter their limits immediately. We want to start now, Luo Lujing declared. There's no reason to wait when the wall is right there. Jinho smirked. He wouldn't refuse. Very well. But know this, my shortcut isn't found in any book. It's simple, he continued. One-on-one combat against me. You will find your enlightenment through the threat of death. In the shadows, the Dang sisters watched. One-on-one? Na Lin scoffed. Does he think the wall is that easy? Harlan frowned, her eyes fixed on Jinho. Traditional teaching failed them. Perhaps his madness is exactly what they need. But a lifetime of training couldn't break it, Na Lin countered. How can a simple duel change their fate? If it were easy, it wouldn't be the Wall of Lamentation, she muttered, doubt clouding her sharp features. Harlan teased her sister about her own lack of progress. They watched, waiting to see if Jinho was truly legendary. I'm almost there, Duong Muan snapped back. Ha Lin just smirked. I didn't even break a sweat, little sister. Na Lin could only fumed in silence. The gap between them was frustratingly clear to everyone watching. Suddenly, Ha Lin patted her sister's head gently. Just kidding. You're close to breaking through to a new realm. The younger sister immediately began to brag. Meanwhile, on the stage, the main character prepared for the next trial. They both knew that if this training succeeded, it would send shockwaves through the entire martial world. Their father would likely be the first to arrive. After all, even elite warriors were stuck at the Wall of Lament. If a fast-track method truly existed, the attention it would draw would be far beyond anything seen before. On the stage, the training officially began. "I'll face each of you one by one," he announced calmly. 𝑰𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 stepped forward first. The other two experts retreated, showing respect for the veteran warrior's age. "Elder first," 𝒃𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 noted. He observed the man who had been stuck at the wall for 20 years. 𝒰𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 bowed solemnly. "Please, guide me." His aura radiated a desperate, burning desire to surpass his limits. 𝒃𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 drew his blade with effortless grace. "If you are ready, then come. I'll let you strike first." "I won't refuse your kindness," the elder replied. He knew better than to hold back against such a monster. With a roar, he gripped his sword and lunged, his body blurred as he leaped toward the main character. But before the blade could connect, 𝒃𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 vanished. The elder's strike met nothing but empty air. He followed up with a flurry of attacks, but every single strike was neutralized with terrifyingly simple movements. Despite the veteran's experience, he couldn't even graze the boy. He cursed under his breath, feeling his frustration boil. Then, it was 𒃃𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆's turn to move. The atmosphere shifted instantly as the main character began his counter. 𝒰𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 struggled desperately just to survive. Each swing from the boy felt like a falling mountain. The terrifying part? He wasn't even using blade chi, yet the elder's bones rattled with every single clash. "I can't let this end in vain," the elder thought. "If this helps me break through, I'll bet everything." He gathered every drop of his remaining strength. His blade began to glow with a fierce, unstable energy. His chi blazed like a wildfire, yet it couldn't even scratch the invisible barrier surrounding the main character. He stared in shock at the boy's unshakable stance. "I gave it my all, yet it means nothing?" Defeated and broken, 𝒰𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 collapsed. 𝒃𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 sheathed his blade. "You've worked hard. Rest for now." The spectators were frozen in disbelief. The two remaining experts rushed over to their fallen comrade in shock. "I saw it," the elder murmured, his eyes wide. "I finally saw what lies on the other side." Finding his resolve, he begged for more. "Please, just a few more exchanges. I've finally grasped the thread." The others stepped back, sensing his breakthrough. 𝒃𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 nodded, ready to push the elder even further. The main character struck again, using the elder's own technique. It was a mirror of his first attack. Only when the blade touched his throat did the elder find the strength to truly fight back. 𝒃𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 watched in silence. This was the spirit of a true warrior who had survived 100 battles. That look in his eyes wasn't a lie. He had finally glimpsed the truth hidden behind the wall. It was the legendary state of nothingness, a realm where only the user and his opponent truly exist. They traded blows in a blur of steel. Fatigue vanished, replaced by the pure ecstasy of martial enlightenment. 𝒃𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 continued to evaluate his opponent. Entering the state was only the first step to breaking through. One must find their own truth within that void. To reach the peak, one must visualize their ultimate self. The first task was to push them to their absolute limit. Only then could the real transformation begin. Now came the second part, helping him see the image of his own supreme martial perfection. 𝒰𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 screamed, pouring his soul into one final strike. He charged forward like a bolt of lightning. He unleashed a series of attacks that carved a straight line of destruction toward 𝒃𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆. He didn't need to hit the boy. The mere act of reaching that level was more than enough. Outside the ring, the onlookers gasped. Blade aura! He actually did it! He manifested true blade aura! Even the elder couldn't believe his eyes. Blade aura? I've finally created it. I've surpassed the wall. 𝒃𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒊𝒃𝒍𝒆 smiled. Congratulations, elder. Go and confirm your newfound power for yourself. Pure blade aura manifested at last. He collapsed, bowing to the master in awe. A lifelong dream finally fulfilled. Seol Jinhao simply waved him away, totally indifferent. It was just a fair trade. Nearby, Yalin frowned, annoyed by his casual brilliance. He knew power invited chaos. A quiet life was never part of his destiny. He craved legendary fame. Holland joked, "Maybe the master will bless me too?" "Absolutely not," Yalin barked. Storm clouds gathered over the next few days. 3 attackers lunged at Jinhao. Yalin dove in, seeking a single opening. They were crushed instantly. Jinhao stood calm, arms crossed in total victory. Enough today. The nanny brought water, begging him to show some mercy. She should thank me. Brutal training is her only way to survive. But her screams echo nightly. He ignored her, focused only on his drink. Fine, tomorrow I'll be gentler. Suddenly, a suspicious guest arrived unannounced. A disciple rushed in, trembling. Jinhao sighed. Who disturbs my peace now? Ma Long is holding them, but the pressure is suffocating. Tension exploded. You dare demand an appointment from the first young master? They barked. They mocked the gates. Ma Long stood firm, unfazed by their hollow arrogance. No appointment, no entry. This is my house, not your family estate. A guard unsheathed his blade. This peasant needs to taste cold death. Ignorant trash. A thunderous voice shattered the air, stopping them cold. Draw that blade and die. Jin Hao's killing intent froze the soldiers instantly. This wasn't the weakling they knew. His aura was now terrifyingly sharp. The rumors were true, a monster had awakened. Where are your manners, guests? Are you mocking me? The young master snarled, his face twisting in rage. Why wouldn't I? We aren't brothers, and this isn't your private playground. How dare you? Jin Hao unleashed a presence that crushed the entire room. Still clueless? Your family name means nothing in my domain, little boy. The young master trembled but clung to his pride. You'll regret this. He grabbed a sword. Jin Hao smiled coldly. Are you ready to be crippled? Since you'll tattle anyway, let's give the elders a real reason to cry. An arm or a leg? I can handle the fallout from the family easily. They have 2 other heirs. They'll still negotiate over your broken body. Death loomed close. The young master finally understood his dire situation. He was right. To the clan, only Jin Hao's power mattered now. His influence had grown too fast. He was a king in hiding. I came to use him, not die. Pride was a luxury he couldn't afford. I was wrong. Forgive me. Jin Hao looked at him with pure disgust. Keep your fake apology. Get out before I change my mind. Wait, I'll give you anything. The young master screamed in a total panic. Disturb me again, and you won't leave this mountain alive, Jin Hao warned. The young master fled. Sir, we can't just leave, his guards cried out. He was going to kill me. Should I have stayed to die? Find another way. Search every corner of the Central Plains for power. Recruit the strongest masters. We will not be surpassed by a cripple. I'll have his head, the guards bowed. Yes, first young master. 100 times, he hissed. I'll repay this humiliation 100-fold. A hulking brute barks orders at a young boy outside the gates of a prestigious martial arts hall. The thug demands an audience with the master, his arrogance flaring as he threatens the small gatekeeper. No appointment, no entry, the boy insists, but the brute roars about his noble Jiangxi lineage. He sneers at the commoners, losing his patience completely. High on pride, he lunges to strike the child. Just as the blow is about to land, time seems to freeze. A hand appears from the shadows. Chen Hao catches the fist with ease, his gaze icy. Who gave you permission to cause a scene? The thug reels back in shock. Realizing who stands before him, his bravado instantly crumbles into terror. He drops to his knees, trembling. Great master, forgive my insolence. I am but a humble traveler. Chen Hao orders him to leave, but the man persists, spinning a tale of martial duty and desperation. He claims he only sought the master's strength to save his family from a life of misery. Wailing about his sick mother and starving children, he pleads for a chance to prove his worth. He produces 2 bars of silver, attempting to bribe his way into a seat among the disciples. Suddenly, the air grows heavy. Chen Hao's killing intent explodes, suffocating everyone in the immediate vicinity. Leave a limb or leave this place, Chen Hao warns. Your gold cannot buy my secret arts. If you have money for bribes, why not for a doctor? Begone before I expose your lies. Even if the story were true, Chen Hao has no room for fools within these sacred walls. Overwhelmed by the master's crushing aura, the liar flees. Chen Hao sighs, longing for a quiet life. Handle these flies yourself next time, he tells the boy, his voice weary from constant interruptions. But peace is a fleeting dream. A new visitor approaches, bearing the crest of the Sichuan Tang family. Thinking it is another beggar, the boy refuses entry, but the man reveals he is a messenger. A secret missive is handed over. The journey to the heart of the Tang clan begins immediately. They arrive in Sichuan, where the mist clings to mountains and the people are draped in black. While the others marvel at the strange sights, Chen Hao remains eerily calm and unimpressed. Is this your first time here? They ask. Chen Hao simply stares at the distant, familiar peaks. How could they know? In his countless past lives, he has walked every inch of these lands. Thanks to the Tang clan's influence, the group enjoys a lavish escort through the bustling spring streets. They approach the Inner Sanctum, a village of shadows where the legendary poison masters reside in secret. The children are fascinated by the clan dynamics, wondering if everyone shares the same blood and destiny. At the Grand Gate, a high-ranking official awaits, bowing deeply to honor the visiting martial master. Welcome to Sichuan, the butler proclaims, acknowledging Chen Hao with the respect due to a king. The sisters recognize the man as the Great Butler, a figure of immense power within the clan. They are led to the Jade Phantom Pavilion, a sanctuary reserved only for the world's most elite. Chen Hao recognizes the significance. This isn't just a warm welcome, it is a test of status. The butler smiles, explaining that the clan leader ordered only the finest treatment for their special guest. As they enter the pavilion, Chen Hao senses a hidden presence watching them from the dark bamboo. A legendary master sits in the garden, his spirit reaching out to gauge Chen Hao's hidden depth. Sensing the probe, Chen Hao doesn't flinch. He retaliates with a silent, devastating surge of his own. A shockwave of pure energy ripples back toward the observer, shattering the silence of the sacred grove. Is something wrong? Holin asks, noticing the shift. Chen Hao simply masks his overwhelming power again. It's just the wind of nostalgia, he replies, as they walk deeper into the lion's den. Deep within the inner court, the leaves rustle as a legendary figure finally opens his eyes. The rumors were true, whispers Tang Tianguang. An absolute monster has finally arrived at our gates. What secrets lie within the Tang clan? Subscribe now to witness the rise of the ultimate legend. Like and share to join us for the next chapter of this epic martial arts journey.